I'm gonna go ahead, acting in a temporary capacity and call this meeting of the Board of Appeal and Equalization to order. Our first order of business, I think, is to swear in the 6 members of the board, only 5 of which are present. And Bob, are you doing that for us this year?
Yes.
Okay. In this case, the county board acts as the Board of Appeal and Equalization along with the auditor.
Right. Good evening, everyone. I'm very honored to be here tonight to administer the oath of office for the Winona County Board of Appeal and Equalization. And there's different ways that the oath can be taken, and some of those are a little bit awkward. Research shows that most of the oaths that are taken for meetings like this, we have all of the members of the committee raise their right hand, and we'll start by having each of you say "I" and your name. And we'll start with the chair at the present time, Chris, and just go around the table.
I, Chris Meyer.
I, Dwayne Begley.
I, Chelsea Wilbright.
I, Marshall Ward.
I, Greg Olson.
And then we'll follow with all of you repeating, "Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and will perform the duties of the Winona County Board of Appeal and Equalization to the best of my knowledge and ability. So help me God." Great, thank you. That was very nicely done.
Thank you.
Each of you now will sign, and that'll complete the official part of this. I'll start with the chairperson.
I might have misunderstood you, but was it "so help me Bob" or "so help me"?
Greg, I just appreciate you a lot, but I get into enough trouble on my own. Yeah, Marie's laughing. Yeah.
I'm usually right there by you, Bob.
Thank you.
Is it possible that Josh might be still coming this evening?
Don't think so.
Okay. If he did, we'd want to swear him in.
If he does,
Yes,
I will stop
that
the
will
meeting
be,
to
that would
swear it in.
be at your discretion. And I'll be here for a while. Got a lot of information to cover tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
The next order of business is going to be to elect a meeting chair and a secretary. I just want to point out that I do not have to be the chair. Mr.
I'd like
Bagley?
to move to nominate Commissioner Meyer to be the chair and Ms. Wilbright to be the secretary, if that's appropriate.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Commissioner Bagley has moved and Commissioner Ward has seconded. Nomination for Chris Meyer as the chair and Chelsea Wilbright as the secretary for this meeting. Are there any other nominations? Oh, there he is.
There it is.
We'll go ahead and complete this and then we'll stop the meeting and swear Commissioner Elsing in. So if there are no other nominations, all those in favor of Chair Meyer and Wilbright as secretary, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone's opposed, say nay. No one's motion carries. We're gonna stop the meeting. Bob, could you swear Commissioner Elsing in?
I could get behind every slow person and hit every stoplight. I managed to do it today.
I'm glad you made it.
Trains. I usually catch a
No
train.
train.
No trains, okay.
I don't have to cross the tracks. Well, besides.
Okay.
Well, so far tonight, all the members of the board for the evening have made it through the oath and did it in an admirable fashion. So the challenge is on. I have the honor this evening, and I am administering to you the oath of office for the Winona County Board of Appeals and Equalization. And we start with you saying "I" and your name.
Hi, Josh Elson.
And on the oath is as follows: do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
Constitution of Minnesota,
and will perform the duties
will perform the duties
of the Winona County Board of Appeal and Equalization
of the Winona County Board of Appeal and Equalization,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
best of my knowledge and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. You are sworn in, and we'll have you do a signature and we'll be all set.
Supposed to say, yeah.
Amen. Before we plunge into the rest of the agenda, I did want to just sort of set some expectations. This meeting is being held based on Minnesota state statutes. Our duty is to attempt to address property owners' issues efficiently, fairly, and objectively. It is, our action is really to give people a fair and objective forum for property owners to appeal their valuation or classification. There are a set of reminders that the state suggests as ground rules. The first of these is that a reminder to property owners that only appeals for the current year's valuation or classification can be made. Prior year's assessments are not within our jurisdiction. Property owners may only appeal the estimated market value, and the appeals prior process is concerning this amount, and it isn't the tax amount, it's the value. And I think we can proceed with after that. Ms. Lindsay, are you going to talk to us first about some changes in property values?
We can go that route if you wish.
Item 3 was property owners' appeals.
Went off some old agendas, but sometimes it's helpful to read that first. So what would be looking at is number 5, the review of mine of the year.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I think it would be important. I can see that particularly commercial and industrial properties
Yeah,
where their sales ratio was like, in some cases, less than 50%, which means they sold way over market values.
I'm Lindsay Brandt. I'm the county assessor here. Just to start off, I do want everyone to know that we do this year have 5 tax petitions. In the last 2 years, we've had 0. We have Fleet Farm, Walmart, Menards, Roots Hospitality, which is American, and Fastenal. The Fastenal buildings are the big ones, the original ones off the bridge there. Oh, there, thank you. So those are the ones we have coming. We have not had any scheduled dates yet. And the other big important thing I did want to bring up right away is we do have a state order coming through. It actually came in yesterday. We do have a state order for the city of St. Charles residential. We have a 5% increase mandated by the state on the land only. So it's land only, not the buildings. So it could have been much, much worse. The reason that happened is when we were doing our sales studies, we did have one property where the new construction was not included, and it threw our number off enough that we were not in ratio. So we have a state order. It cannot be contested at all. It's coming down from the Commissioner of Revenue. That will have to be implemented before September 1st.
So I'm sorry, if it's state mandated and it's the land only, so what's that mean? Next year's taxes will go up? It's
So-
not retro.
Right. So this would be
2027, I mean?
2027. Yep. So the appeals we're working on right now, this would go on that value.
Assessment 26 is paid 27.
Correct.
So we're here to review assessment 26.
You're right, so,
Yep.
so I mean,
So that was honestly, we missed one new construction and it could have been much worse. They could have put it on the buildings. Let's see. I did inform that board at their local boards as well, so they are aware Because I talked with our PTCO, who is our regional officer for up there, that he's like, it's going to come, so be prepared. And I wanted them to know as well. The adjustments.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
I've told you I don't like this system, and I think for the state to come in and do this is almost criminal. So you missed one construction sale, but they're raising the land, you said, not the buildings.
Right,
That
so
seems hypocritical.
if-
And then where, did they have 6 sales in St. Charles that justified this?
Yes, so because we have to have that 90 to 105 ratio, if we do not, is when we get the state mandate. So because we did miss that new construction, which didn't get pulled out, it pulled ours under, just under. If they were to do it on the land and the buildings, it would have gone way, way more up. If it was just the buildings, it would have been that. But this was actually a land, new construction on the land, so it was the well and the septic. It wasn't ticked off as new construction. So this is going just on the land. The people in St. Charles, it won't be as harsh on their values versus 5% on their building value.
Was the project, when was the project completed?
I don't know that right now. I'd have to look.
Okay, if it wasn't completed, how can you tax somebody for value if the project?
And I
hasn't
don't know that it
completed?
wasn't, but if there was some improvements in the well and septic were put in, even if a house is not completed, there is some new construction added, say just the foundation is there. There would still be value on that foundation. So even if it's not completed, whatever portion is, goes on the tax rolls.
Thank you. I wouldn't vote for that, but okay, thank you.
I don't think we get to vote on.
Right?
There's some problems here in the system, yeah.
The residential base rate for all residential properties went from $178 a square foot to $189 a square foot. We've all looked at the construction costs over the last year or two. Homer Township did get an extra bump. They had a neighborhood factor that went from 1.11 to 1.12. And because they had 10 residential sales at 85%, so they needed that extra little bump to get them in ratio. Rolling Stone Township, they got a factor adjustment as well. They went from 0.96 to 1.12. They got a larger one. They only had 5 sales, so it wasn't required, but our 5-year study in that township has been very, very low. So with the 5 sales, we were still at 64%. So this is just trying to be a little proactive so we don't have to do major jumps later down the road. Utica City neighborhood factor went from 0.93 to 0.97. They did have 6 sales. So they had their own study and they just needed that to get into ratio as well. Commercial and industrial, that's the big one that everybody's had the hardest time swallowing. There was a 25% increase across the board on all commercial buildings. Countywide, we had 13 sales and the ratio of that was 74.29. And industrial had 4 sales, but we were still at 54% on those. So commercial and industrial went up 25%. Agricultural land had no change. We were actually at just over 100% on that. I think it was like 100.1 or 100.2. So that was good because the year prior, ag land got a 10% push. I included in the packet a report from the Department of Revenue. I'll show you which one it is. Before the adjustments were made. This sheet right here, that's from the Department of Revenue. It's broken down by each area, agricultural, residential, commercial. That shows you right here under the median ratio column, what those ratios were before any of these adjustments were made. And a reminder that needs to be between 90 and 105. Over.
But again, I'm sorry. So
That's
here I'm looking right down the line, Dresbach, commercial. It's at 52.39. Well, there was only 1 sale. So how can you justify
Right.
jumping that up to close to 100 if there's 1 sale?
So
So that one property is
when
gonna
you
get,
look at the commercial, so these top 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mhm.
5, 6,
Yep.
7 lines, that is countywide.
right,
So countywide commercial, we're still only at 74%. So countywide, there was 13 sales, so that still needs to be in ratio.
But the Dresbach one, is that one property gonna get a huge tax increase?
Every commercial property in Dresbach got a 25% increase. Every commercial building in Winona County got a 25% increase.
See, you're not,
Not disproportional to back versus. others.
that's not apples to apples. A commercial property in Dresbach is not the same as a commercial property in the city of Winona.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, but we do mass appraisal, so
But
then
they
you
just
get your
throw 'em out.
valuations. That's when you need to call us if you're looking at it going, this isn't gonna work in Dresbach. Cause that's how we do it, cause it's not, we can't go to every single one and do an individual appraisal
No,
every year.
but the state of Minnesota is telling you that you've got to lump them all together.
Correct.
Yeah. So ask them to go to each and every one and justify it.
That's why you're seeing businesses dry up in small towns.
Oh, yeah,
They
they
just
can't
can't
afford.
withstand the same cost. They can't do. it.
Yeah.
They're losing. They're dumb.
I guess my main point is that compliance and disagreement and pushback all need to be part of the formula. We need to comply, yes, but we need to do some pushback and maybe some, like, this is not working for our constituents.
So if we wouldn't have done that 25% raise on the commercial properties, there would have been a state order. This
Never
gives,
can point
this
fingers
gives
to
us
the
the
state. What are they
opportunity.
gonna do to us? They're
But this
gonna
gives us
impose
the
it anyway.
opportunity to say, hey, I don't agree with that. And if we are not in compliance with commercial properties, so you have your public utilities, your My Energy, Dairyland, all that stuff, railroads. If we are not in compliance, say we're at 85%, right? We're 5% low. The public utilities value gets adjusted to that, which means what Excel is paying in their taxes in Dairyland, that's gone. And now we're paying it
Why is it gone? I don't understand. Why
because
would it be gone?
our ratio would be low. So they are adjusted to be low as well. That's how that works. So having to do a large jump on commercial properties with the option to appeal is better than not and losing taxes on public utilities.
But public utilities doesn't the state take the bulk of their taxes? How much does Winona County collect out
don't
of
know.
public utilities?
I'll find
Yeah,
that.
okay, I mean, but isn't the bulk go right to the state of Minnesota?
I know, I think 40% of
countywide
Red Wing's tax base comes directly from Excel because they have so much property there.
For the statewide assessed or the state assessed valuation for transmission distribution lines, et cetera. We tax those at countywide average rate. There are some state assessed that's taxed at the locality rate for taxing district 0301. That's not Dresbach, but an example, but most of these big utilities are taxed at the countywide average rate. So we take the total tax base for the whole county divided by total levies to boil down to the countywide average rate. And so they're paying countywide average rate, and that goes, I don't want to misspeak. So they pay tax capacity tax on the countywide average rate. They pay the market value tax, which is schools. And yes, they pay state tax, but let's pick on the biggest one of our the biggest line for our transmission distribution is their tax bill is $525,062. 27,000 of that is market value. 379,000 is tax capacity tax, which is at that countywide average rate. And then 117,000 is state tax, because the state tax rate stays the same across the county, which is 28 point something. So that gets applied to those, and yes, the state takes that. How those are distributed. Wind and solar versus transmission distribution are distributed differently.
But while you're looking that up, so Lindsay, you're telling me if we aren't in the range, the state threatens us by taking away some of our local tax
They
capacity.
don't threaten us. It
It does. Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's a threat to keep you at that margin.
Right, because if we didn't do something, then we're not, again, it's mass appraisal, not individual. If we are not assessing everybody equally across the board, yes, so it's like a check and balance between the county and this. Between 90 and 105, there's room to move because any sale price is a moving number. So there's always usually negotiations, but it's to be within that range, yeah. Institution, that we just
Constitutions can be changed, and I'm not sure the Constitution dictates these kind of micromanaging rules. There is a portion of, tax collection and everything, but this is actually talk about micromanaging down to the county level. That's exactly what they're doing. That's okay. You can follow up with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a threat. It's a mandated threat. Okay, thank you.
I did want to, important note that I found, the new cost of a building average this year at 350,800, new house, excuse me. The average cost was 350,800. That's up 51.5% from the previous year. That information was from Planning and Zoning Department based off the permits and new construction. So we kind of go from there. I do have in that letter that I sent you actually a breakdown of year over year, which is kind of interesting. It's quick.
Thanks.
This is year and median house cost, so. Yeah. Just in 2019, it was 172 average for a new construction house, and now we're at 358.
But an important factor to me would be what's the square footage of these houses? When somebody seems to build, they get bigger and bigger.
That's why they go with the median, because you're gonna have a tiny house, which is on the low end, and a large house.
McMansion with
So those
four-car
kind of fall
garage
off
and-
the median.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Right.
sure the median has grown considerably over the last 10 years.
Yep.
It's almost doubled in 6 years.
Yeah,
Like I said, the ag values did not change this year, but for those who have a lot of ag in their districts, I included this lovely spreadsheet. From 2012, 2026, which gives you top tier billable for each county in our region. So it kind of shows you where we compared everybody else. Again, it's for the top tier, so your grade A soil. But again, it's a nice breakdown, shows you where we're at compared to other counties. A lot of people have found that information good. The next page in your handout is the new construction for the county as a whole. Sorry. This last year, we had 47,783,300 in new construction in the county. Above that, we have a breakdown for each township or city. And let's see, the next part in there as well, I thought it was some helpful information. It's the assessed values for each township and city. So what the total values are for each township or city.
Quick question, on the new construction, is that taxable, or what if it's churches or schools or museums that are non-tax?
That would be included in there.
Okay. That's all then.
So this is market value, not
Not
taxable
tax,
market value
not tax capacity.
or tax capacity.
And then in the end of your page, I did include just this diagram because it's been helpful to kind of explain how your changes in your value affect taxes. And a lot of boards had asked for that, so we gave them copies. There's copies outside as well. It's just another way to explain how that gets. The areas that are going to be quintiled this year, full quintiles, is Rolling Stone City, Norton Township, half of St. Charles City. And then a portion of each of the 4 neighborhoods in Winona. Approximately 4,900 parcels, that'll be reassessed.
Great.
Any
Good.
question?
Don't hear any? So if we move on to the,
Oh, I'm sorry, maybe Lindsay can answer these.
Go ahead,
I'm sorry,
please go ahead.
apologize.
Yeah.
So you have, under your Department of Revenue Rules of Equalization there. Okay, 6 sales in a district. What, and on a bigger page, you had some pretty large, what constitutes a district? Because you have on the first page then countywide, and then you break down some of the cities. So what is a district?
Your district's either gonna be a full township or a full city.
Okay, all right,
does that depend on the level of the board that's meeting or?
No,
no.
each
just
district is literally just either a specific township, so like all of Fremont is one, or
District.
City St. Charles.
Okay,
would be
all right.
considered.
Okay, and then, thank you for not, raising the farmland. But a question is being asked about, the value of certain farmlands. In fact, today we were, looking at a farmer down in Wiscoy area that has a large amount of acreage probably taken out of production because of our, stream bank, setback. So is all his land taxed at a high rate, or do we exclude portions that we say, no, you can't farm?
If he's tilling it, it will go at the soil grade. If
Okay,
he's not, again, it's the use. Is he pasturing it? Is it just
No.
sitting there?
no,
and
it's just
sitting
sitting there growing
Buffer
weeds.
law?
Buffer, the
Then
buffer
it's
law.
Probably listed as pasture or waste, which are the same value.
Okay, so would he have to come in and double check that, or do you have?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so a buffer setback would be lesser value, should be.
If it's not already set up that way, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. And the same way with now, more and more land is being put in conservation programs. Is a landowner compensated for acreages that are in, 10-year conservation plans and such?
Again, it all depends on how it's being used. So depending, some conservation easements are very specific to the land. Some let you pasture it, some don't let you touch it. So it's going to be on an individual basis.
Okay, but a person that does have a large acreage and something should check and verify with your office.
Or even a
Just keep
small
that
one.
con-
Yeah.
Even a small one, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So would you jump 25% on commercial properties? How does? I mean, that's a pretty big jump,
Yeah.
Because we have
Huge.
been,
but the question becomes. Didn't happen overnight.
correct.
So how'd we get there? Because I look at the multiple municipalities that I deal with, I look at the commercial properties that I own, I look at different things that are out there, and there's no magic bullet to just go pay that, right? So how did we as a county, I guess, all of a sudden realize, and why wasn't there some sort of something happening in the prior years to say, hey, we're this far out of whack?
There was some movement in prior years. About enough to get us in ratio. And this last one, we had a bunch of sales that were just high. Our big one that we haven't had a lot of sales on recently in the past 4 or 5 years was industrial. They're just selling for much more than we put on them. That little, where, Michael's Lighting used to be, like that area. Are you
At the-
familiar with
At
that?
the middle school?
There's, no, there's
Right
No.
there by the river.
building there about the size of this. And it sold for $800,000-900,000.
Yeah,
Brick
Bob
building.
brings us those
Nothing.
reports.
But
So-
I still go back and say the reflection of that to the outlying areas is just not a realistic.
Well, so with that said, can they apply for one of these credits? There's that thing, if your real estate taxes go up more
That's
than
for
12.
homeowners.
Yeah. that's
Okay,
good
well,
for
do they
residents.
have something for commercial? Because we're saying that's gonna just drive out a lot of,
Well, even our smaller townships, even those were low. They're just low. It's not like we're putting something in or not St. Charles, like Utica City, say. Say we had
Did we have some
100,000
sales? there?
on it or something, sold for 200. We're not pushing that to the 500 like you would in Winona. It's just literally across the board on each individual property. We're not pushing it out of. It's just, we've been that low.
And if I understand this right, I mean, so I'm not sure, did you merge the commercial and industrial sales? So there would be 17 total sales, or did you, yes?
Yes,
Yep.
so the state does it. Once you have any areas that do not have their own, they go into a separate fund.
And so the ratio, the sales ratio, if it's less than 90, which it was, then requires you, the assessor, us, the county, to increase the property value. And that's how we got to the 25%.
Right, and that's what it took us to get us in. Yeah. And again, that's when I was explaining, we didn't, everybody still has the opportunity to dispute that value. Why we get the green sheets every year.
I guess my point is that, there has to be, I understand they want their money, but to jump that and say there isn't some outlying factor that somebody found gold under the building and doesn't want to tell anybody, and they're willing to pay 900,000, the rest of us got to foot the bill. I mean, that's a lot of what happens in these situations, and I say that hypothetically, but and then to come back and there isn't some sort of hey, the most it can go up is 10%, 5%, because of some circumstance that created this scenario. So that at least businesses have the ability to absorb the increases, because I can think of a dozen little businesses that are trying to just survive, and you go whack them with a $2,000 deal, and that's $2,400 increase on a 10,000. It doesn't take much. I mean, a couple $100,000 buildings, $10,000. I know, I own them. So you go and say, well, you got to come up with another $200 a month, and you're like, man, we're already on the verge of shutting the doors. It's just, what's the point? And that's to me, it's just devastating when we allow 1 year to dictate all this, when the whole thing could change next year, and the insurance tech ain't gonna go back down. So,
Something to keep in mind again with all of these ratios, it's always the median. So you can have one where we're super low and they're way too much, and vice versa. So we go to the median. And every agricultural sale and every commercial sale and every single industrial sale, every single one of them, we are required by the state to call and verify the sale to see if there was there personal property included in that? Was the machinery in part of that number? So that comes out. And if we can't, if there's like excessive personal property, we don't even use that sale, not even in our sales study. Or if ag land is sold from a grandparent to a grandchild, and there's no appraisal to say, yeah, each kid gets 30%, and this is what we think it's worth. We don't use those.
this isn't on you. This is a higher level situation to me that just simply says, I don't think it's fair that, the assessment process allows for such a large increase that there's no way to absorb for some of these small businesses. They can't just pass that on.
I think the thing is, if all property went up equally and every piece of property in the county went up 25%,
In
then,
value.
right, but then the taxes, however, would
Still
be
distributed.
equally, just as they are, right? But if residential properties go up 5% and commercial properties go up 25%, even if we reduced taxes, the commercial taxes are still going to go up because
Yeah.
proportionally their value.
You're preaching to the choir. You want to compare tax bills?
The wrong people are making up the Board of Appeal and Equalization. It should be state senators and state representatives, because it's their rules that we are having to imply.
Yes.
And really, we're the wrong people.
Well, to me, it's so reactionary, and then it's guilty until you prove yourself innocent and plead your case. And, it's a track,
Go,
you know,
go
it's a
tell the
tragedy.
college kids that, oh, I don't pay real estate taxes. Yes, you do. Your rent is going to go up considerably. and
100%.
That's your property.
Oh,
tax
every one of my
contribution.
rents will go up after this.
Yeah,
Okay,
all right.
so
Sorry, we're beating up on you.
that's okay.
You're the messenger.
We're actually beating up on the state and the rules of the state.
Yeah, that's not on you, Lindsay. I made that clear. I get what needs to happen. I don't feel as though it's right that there needs to be some sort of a realistic cap when these things come to fruition.
As we
Should she be a state employee?
Yeah.
The county.
Mm.
Why?
As
Why are we doing that?
proceed, with the property owners' appeals, does it make sense that individuals who are, we have a giant sheet, who are in green on here are present at the meeting?
I will look.
Okay.
But they may or may not have. shown up.
Okay, so if they are, do you want me to call their names? And if they are present, then ask them to come up?
So every year we do have a scheduled time, so I would start with whomever has already signed up.
Do you have a list?
I do.
Okay, would you like to do?
Okay, before you start that though, you say, you know, what we can do is we're limited to 1% change in the value of your district. So do we know the people who are appealing, what district they're in and how much, and how many dollars we have to play with? Well, it says we
I mean,
can.
If the county is a district and we could justify it, couldn't we reduce from 25 to 24?
Well, but she said district like for me would be my,
Go out of ratio.
That would put us out of ratio and the state would never allow it anyway, so
let them catch us, let them slap our hands.
sure they're listening.
Yeah.
District again is, city or township, not my
Correct.
taxing district.
Yeah, so mine would be my township.
So on this form
Yes,
is
Which
your
one is that?
value. The mini app that is.
Yeah.
I think it's second, third to last page.
yeah,
Reconstruction. This one? Oh,
but this one?
Yes.
okay, so this is, okay, so we
So in Altura, their value is X,
60,000. So
16.
our discretion is 1% of that 60,000.
Correct.
Okay,
If there's not already changes
okay.
in the.
Oh, and so it isn't by classification, it's for the entire district.
Yeah, the
Okay.
district. Okay, so now we're going to this big spreadsheet?
No, I guess not,
No, oh,
right?
So we have, he already called and said he's not there.
Gotcha, okay. So Dwight Lang, if you're in the audience, could you come up to the podium? And state your case in terms of what your complaint is about the property valuation, if you have
Sure.
one, and.
Well, they're raising my property value by over $30,000. And I met with Stephanie earlier and I tried to ask for comparables. And at that time, because of one of the hacks, that she was not able to give me the comparables. But she did give me a sheet where I see a couple inaccurate things on my property. One of them is the acreage they have me down for is 1.47 acres, 64,000 square feet. My actual square footage is about 15,000, which is 3/4 an acre.
a lot.
The other thing, she has my heated area in my house at 3,900 square feet, and the actual heated is 1,850. My house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it has to be one of the most expensive 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Would you at least, maybe. The proposed is, my value would be next year, $363,400. Almost, that's over a 9% gain. Goodview's sales were in the 90.43% ratio. If we take my over 9% and they have that, they're putting me at 100%. I was told that everyone was going up at that rate. And I've talked to the people since then and they haven't confirmed. 9 to 10%. I never had an increase that high. And 2008 and 9 is when I took me to a tax court at the time. You may have to do it again.
Mr. Lang, with that change in acreage and footage, did you by chance go back and look at like last year or past years? Did we still have it at that high, that
I
differential?
don't know. I was just given this sheet by Stephanie
Oh,
and I
okay.
noticed just these things that are inaccurate. And I don't know how long it's been inaccurate or if it was a misprint or whatever, but I know that those things are not correct. And like I say, if I look through her Goodview sales here, I'm the most expensive 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Compared it to the fresh 2025 sales. My house. Sold, I lived in it since I built it. I don't know if, Mr. Hacken had adjusted my value to the inaccuracies of the building. And I don't know if that percent has been taken off now that he adjusted that by. Like I said, when I met with her, not her fault. County had just been hacked again. Didn't have a lot of the comparisons. But I know almost every house in my area around me has had new siding, new windows, new doors, new roofs. One had a big 2-car garage addition on it. Fair to see if those properties went up, but even if they did go up, they've had a lot of improvements and mine is not.
So how, the people in the position, how do we verify the dimensional differences?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, plus my lot is a parallelogram. So it's not
Square.
Square. When you do the math on a parallelogram, you have to measure the height. It shrinks down, you lose square footage. So it's usable in those corners and that too.
And,
Trying to figure out where that 1.47 is even coming from, because it's not.
and when did you talk to them? If it was right after the, cyber attack?
It was right after the mailing of this, because that was really delayed the mailing because
Yeah.
of.
Mail, those went out, March 31st.
In March, okay.
Yep, they were mailed March 31st.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do have the same questions that Commissioner Ward had, just in terms of the discrepancies in terms of the acreage and the conditioned space.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's other inaccuracies or, like I said, if that percentage that Mr. Hacken had figured on, because in the last court hearing that we found, county's house inspector found 15 flaws that he could see that didn't meet building code. He could see. He said there's probably other ones hidden behind walls and everything. So that, I think, was an adjustment that he put on my house. And my house suffers because of it. I mean, if you came in there, and Stephanie was in there and did a fresh review just a year ago. So I was shocked that he'd see a 30% tacked on to her fresh review. Because the inside of the house is basically cracking and falling apart.
And you live in Goodview,
Yeah, but that's City of Goodview rules,
and it's,
building code.
but it is residential and looks like there were 39 sales and they were 90.43, so they fell inside of the state limits of 90 to 105, so
Yeah, and if you take that 90+% and add another 9 some, you have my house at 100. No,
yeah, and I'm not understanding why it would go up if the overall, the residential properties, well, unless you're,
Because he's in the county.
yep. Mhm.
Still, so countywide.
Yeah,
that's
countywide.
done- That's done by itself countywide. And countywide, we had 432 sales, so we were at 85%.
Yeah, 86 almost, but still 4% too low.
Yeah, and actually, I think it ended up being 80. Well, either way, we have 85% on the paper here, but we were low countywide, so that's why there was that base rate increase from the 170 to 189 per square foot on all the houses throughout the county.
And then is his valuation, I mean, then that discrepancy in terms of well, that's the property itself. Yeah,
but-
and that,
When Dwight's done, we can go and explain our
Great.
reasoning on why things are not changed.
super, okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, even if you're held to 1%, like I said, I'm going up close to 10%. I don't know if the rest of Goodview or others are. And I had that disagreement with Mr. Hack, and he'd say, well, your health is right in this range, and you went up 2%, and the rest went up 1%. Almost 10% shot.
It's even listed on GIS as 1.47, and your neighbor's lot back to the east is just slightly smaller than yours, and that's listed at 0.32.
I'm looking at that and I'm wondering if, Beacon isn't feeding. It
has incorrect information.
yeah, it looks like it's feeding from, when I'm looking in the tax system, it appears to be feeding from the parcel tab under calculated CAMA acres, but that's not real acres. That includes lots and things like that. So it's skewed.
So is that when it was a bigger parcel, but
This is
wasn't split up?
No,
1.47.
I don't think that field should be reading from where it's reading from.
All of Goodview is by
Without a
front foot
doubt.
and
So that, like, you're getting a whole acre per unit, but that's not how it's valued
Right.
or an actual acre. We're not saying your property is 1.47 acres. That field, since we switched to Tyler, appears to be pulling from a different location than it did on our prior, with our prior tax software, it was pulled from deeded acres. It still reads deeded acres on Beacon, but it's not pulling that information. Because on a lot block situation, we don't use acres in the deeded acres section.
So interesting enough, your neighbor next to you's lot is valued at $52,800 at 0.32. Your lot, although it's classified as 1.47, is actually and it's larger, is actually valued at less than that at 51,000.
And Mr. Hacken adjusted that when the apartment building,
Yep.
two-story apartment building built up right next to my house.
And what I'm trying to say, Dwight, is that although it says 1.47, it's realistic to the lot next door because they're almost taxed identical, even though yours is slightly larger. So I think it's just a misprint on the 1.47, but it doesn't look like it's being taxed at a 1.47. If that makes sense.
So what's our timeline constraints in here and everything? If we can get some of this information verified, do we have a timeline that before we can make an adjustment? What's the,
Today, I think we have.
I have a question too, is what is the average house in Goodview going up? Blanket statement of how they're all going up by 10%.
I have not pulled that number, but Goodview would just be the standard base rate per square foot, so it'd be from that 1.7, then we'd be.
It went up, yeah, $19 a square foot.
Yeah. So if you have a house that's 800 square feet versus a house that's 2,000 square feet, there's gonna be a discrepancy there.
And-
Because it's per square foot.
And the square footage is not on the condition space, it's on the full building.
And see, again, that should be a house that's been lived in for 20 years is worn and torn versus a house that got built.
Appreciation on top of that square, I mean,
You guys don't
Mhm.
appreciate. Assessor only assesses.
Yeah,
Thank
I would,
you.
I would agree. So again, where are we leaving Mr. Lang?
So Lindsay's
That
gonna
would be
come
our
up and
Lindsay.
explain. They're gonna explain.
But do we have a certain drop dead timeline that we have to make a
Tonight.
decision to change something? It
Tonight.
has to be tonight,
Yes.
June,
Yes.
whatever today is?
Yeah.
We can't leave them in limbo
No,
pending?
Well, it sounds like I'll be taking it back.
Well, that doesn't help anybody. That wastes your time, energy and effort and wastes our time, energy and effort. So what's the average that the tax court gets
That is,
all over the place?
yeah.
So what would make, I know nothing will make you happy. What can you live with? What is it you're asking us to do, Mr. Lang?
I mean, I was happy for, when it goes up at a 1 or 2% rate, but a 10% rate is.
Try 25.
Thanks.
Said if you're only allowed to go 1%.
Nope,
Well-
no, but any change that we make has to be justified with data. I mean, we have made changes in the past when I've been on the board.
Okay, so can you go verify the data and then come back? And if anything is dramatically different than what?
we did, that's Stephanie walked through the property.
Okay, but I don't see any changes on my spreadsheet here.
Right, we voted no change. That was all right.
The assessor's office would like a chance to respond, Commissioner Ward.
No, they're, let Lindsay talk.
Yeah, why are we doing nothing? What's the rationale? What's the just?
We're going to hear that.
Oh, well, I thought they were gonna go discuss something.
No, thank you, Mr. Lang.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that you came.
So. Tiffany, if you wanna hop in here, could you walk through his house? All right. We have his property right now valued at 363,400. And just so we're all in
Mhm.
the same. This is his house in Goodview.
Mhm.
And then the lot, which it's on the main drag. We've all kind of been through it. So if I zoom out a good view,
And when was it built? 20 years?
2004.
2004.
thank you. Yeah, and like Mr. Lang said, I walked through the property last year. So this year, I asked him, since I walked through your property last year, is it okay if we just meet in person and go over and see if there have been any changes? And if there have been any changes, we agreed that we would go to the property and take another look around. He said that there were not any changes. I explained the base rate increase. Last year's value was 333,000. I was able to provide, unfortunately, this did happen, when we were systems down. But I did pull from Beacon, comparison sales report, which I provided, and that does, the acreage, as he stated, is pretty inaccurate, from what we can see, but what I had circled here was, the heated area of the properties that had sold. And we did come up with 14 results that were compared to his, and the heated area on all of these properties that had sold within the last year, were half of what his heated square feet was. And these properties, the top 6 right here, I can say sold for 375,000, 370,000, 367,500, 345,000, 331,000, 315,000, and it goes on.
What were the ages of do you have ages of those houses? Were they again 20 plus years old?
But those
So
are
the year bill,
four-bedroom and 3-bedroom
the year built on the first two, the 375,000 was 2007. And
That's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath.
4-bedroom, 3-bath, and his, is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but when we do comparables, they can be, 4 bedrooms
And
or 1 bathroom, and those fit within the range that we pull when we pull comparables.
And the square footage was.
The square footage was
smaller.
1,703.
So the rooms are smaller. That's sold for 375 and we got 363.
And,
Right.
yeah, and the one right after that was built also in 2007. The one that sold for 367.5 was built in 1978. That one was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath.
With 1,300 square feet, so even smaller, yeah.
Yep, and then there was a 1,500 square foot house, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 345,000. That one actually was a townhome.
But do those have new windows, siding, insulation, new plumbing fixtures, new stove,
That's
refrigerator?
considered in the depreciation scale. Every house does have depreciation.
Okay, so what did Mr. Lang's depreciate then? Because he's saying it's a 20, he said changes, he said there's more cracks in the walls, there's more wear and tear and
It's
stuff.
fully depreciated.
It is fully depreciated.
So,
Far depreciated as we can get it.
so how much can you depreciate a property if it's fully depreciated?
So it's saying his house was built in 2004. And to this day, nothing has been changed or updated. That's what it's saying. Nothing's been, it's like it was still built in 2004 without new windows, siding.
So back in
roof, which is-
2004, it still would have been 312?
No, this is,
Doesn't?
this has the adjustments for what the market sales are for a property of similar size and condition.
And then he did request, a comparison, and we actually didn't have access to Beacon at this time, or printer, or we had access to Beacon, but not printers. So I did, provide him with a handwritten, sample.
For his neighbors.
That he requested of his neighbors. And then I wrote the parcel numbers, what was listed in Beacon for acres, the estimated market value that was listed on Beacon, and then broke out, what the building value was versus the land value, and then provided those parcel numbers. And the house, directly behind him is currently 365, and that one, the property itself is just at 315, 50,000 of it's just for the land.
But now that's not next year's value.
Yeah, that was
And
Earlier.
that house,
before I
that
could,
particular house has gone through $3,000 improvement. Windows, doors, siding, roof, double garage added on.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
got another
But-
double garage added on. to
Sure.
his garage.
So we don't have any more information than that with Dwight's house. We have it at 363,4, and we think that was a fair market value.
Sure.
And that was our reasoning.
And even though the Beacon values are incorrect, that isn't what you were taxed, that wasn't what you were taxed on. And the price per square foot is on the entire property, not just the conditioned space. Commissioner
the
Olson?
sale comparables that we did pull from Beacon would be used in our sales ratio study.
Yeah.
Just year-wise. Then this one, only goes, so it goes back to 2025.
Okay, so this, to make,
Commissioner Olson first,
Oh,
and then you,
okay.
Commissioner Ward.
I would, I would say based on your assessment that you've done your due diligence and if his remedy is tax court, then that would be the remedy that he would have to seek. But I would support the no change.
so what is, make it clear to me, is Mr. Lang gonna be taxed at 363,400 value for next year then? Or it's gonna be 10% higher than that?
That's the number.
That is the.
Yeah.
Okay, so it will be at the 363,400. Well, Mr. Lang has been here before. It seems like his property is a little bit unique in the city of Goodview. Somewhat by, how he built it, and I'm assuming you're still cutting hair there?
I'm trying to retire, but I don't.
You won't, no, you won't be, we
Excellent.
won't allow, we'll keep taxing, your price of haircuts will go up. tax court does nobody any good. It's just a real negative type of thing. And do we have any, you're saying we have no reflection on homes, what tax courts is. We usually go to tax court with very large corporations who have, multiple lawyers and everything. Do we have any feeling what an individual house, how they get treated in tax court in the state of Minnesota? Do you know, Mr. Lang? You've been there before.
Yeah.
Did they have any sympathy? Or,
They did, and the court can only rule on 1 year. According to me and Mr. Hacken, he said, I'm gonna suggest that you adjust following 3 years at this lower value. Compensate 10 years.
but that 3 years has passed.
8, 9, and 10,
Okay.
and they brought it down.
Well, it's getting dark.
Okay,
But is it the market value that you're not liking, or is it your tax roll?
yeah.
I don't
It's not-
know either one. Razor, not an assessment.
You know what, if you want to speak to us, please do come to the microphone, yeah, because we are recording the meeting. Thank you.
If an official appraiser came through the house and seen the flaws that are there and the 22, 23-year-old carpet, flooring, appliances and the cracks in the break, I mean, almost every corner in my house is cracked and busted. Drywall falling down. So that's not an assessor's assessment. Appraiser would lower the value. Now, my house could be brought up to that, but it would take, like the back neighbor did, I'm sure it cost $100,000 to do what he did with new windows, doors, and even a double garage addition. My friend just put a new addition on a new house, just a back porch. And that was like 50,000 for just that. So,
So do the commissioners have any other questions for Mr. Lang?
Not for Mr. Lang, but I
Okay.
think for staff.
Please take a seat. Thank you. Okay, proceed.
What do we anticipate? We go to tax court with these very large corporations and I don't know, I don't know exactly what we spend fighting the large corporations. Do we have any idea what we would pay to fight tax court on a small individual
think that-
residential?
It doesn't work like that.
Well, we'd have to hire a lawyer. We don't do it ourselves. We can't always hire somebody. I got an assistant attorney there. Have you been to
No,
tax court?
No,
You have, for the county? Oh,
the
okay.
assessor, please respond. I don't know. In terms of the tax court now.
Oh, okay.
What it would cost, I have honestly no idea.
Mhm.
That was something we would try and do in-house, actually. Yes, we would work with our local,
Okay, because the
Sure.
corporations, we always seem to hire somebody because they
depending on
have,
what is needed, yeah.
because they have.
And one thing that we don't know, Dwight gave his information, but he has not said what he thinks that value should be.
Well, I'm gonna assume we would spend at least probably time, energy and effort, 3 staff, $20,000 fighting it in the tax court. So I would just as soon give Mr. Lang a $20,000 building value versus, and say, let's go on with life versus spending it on tax court. So I'll make a motion to reduce his, I guess, the building value, $20,000.
What was it? I don't
It's
see.
312 prior.
No, it says prior and post.
They are
They're the same. They're
Those are
identical.
That's right, yeah.
363,400.
What was it last year?
333,000.
Okay, so it still would go up.
I said you just, man,
Is there a second
we already-
motion that's on the table right now?
so 3, so it went up 30,000, so half of it would be 15.
Inflation.
Is there a second to the motion that's on the table? Hearing none, that motion fails. Would anyone like to make a motion regarding this property? Is
I'll make a motion to split it, 15,000.
there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay. And the justification, just for the record, is that,
Unappreciated, you know, I can't find the reason why the value went up that high. And I go back to my original statement about moving things up in large increments like that, you know, whether it was a mistake in the past or whatever that might be. So I just feel as though that we could do it a little slower and, you know, unequivocally that there's, you could argue about the differences and everything, but there's a small change. We can tell that the land value is there. I don't think the dispute so much is in the land value as it is in the condition and the property of the building, or the house. That's what I heard. So there's a small change that could be there, arguing that everybody else around has something newer than what they do and more square feet or whatever it might, or less square feet, but yet newer things. So I would say a cost of a door costs the same regardless of the size of the building.
anyone else have thoughts? Okay. Commissioner Elsing has moved, Commissioner Ward has seconded, decreasing the value of the property by $15,000. Is there any further discussion?
And that's something that we are allowed to do.
Yep, it would be within that 1%.
All those in favor of proceeding with the motion to decrease the property value, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Wait, do you get a vote?
Oh, I'm
Get a
sorry,
vote?
Chelsea.
Oh, I think
please
it
vote.
tied.
Nay.
Nay?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Tie.
that's a tie, so the motion does not proceed.
Then there's no change.
There would be no change.
No.
And thank you. Sorry about that. Okay,
Just a question, clarification on this big spreadsheet and everything. There's a difference at, to the far right. You have no, you have no
but some
CBA,
have a difference. Yeah.
right? Some have a difference, but then you say no change. So you already decided to do that difference, decrease something 30, like you're.
So,
35.6?
yeah, I'm gonna explain this a little bit.
Yeah,
I have
did
another-
your
This
department
is-
decide to decrease that 35.6?
This is when we didn't have system difference. So
Mhm.
this is what it was. This is what we suggest that
Mhm.
change is. At the local board, we voted no change because we couldn't. We didn't have actual numbers to pull from the
Okay,
system.
all right.
So that gave them the option to come to county board.
Okay, so the
This-
different, what's the difference number?
The difference is the adjustments we had made and need approval for.
Okay, so you did make some adjustments to a number of properties.
Yes.
So this one, the top one,
And
Old Homer
those-
Road, you decreased, now did you decrease the built, does this, building or land?
So here's prior land, building.
Okay, post land 85, so that's.
None of the land changed.
Okay.
On
none of
any of
land.
these.
Okay, okay, so you dropped the value of the house. Okay, okay, so I'm understanding.
And
So
if I understand right,
there were a lot changed.
everything on this sheet that's not green or yellow will be on consent.
Correct.
Right, which is fine, but take note that there were a lot of changes made to some properties
Yes.
for some reason, and we don't know why. but-
Okay. Mr. Peach. And Mrs. Peach, could you introduce yourselves?
I'm Diane Peach.
William Peach.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to appeal. And we sent an email on the 5th to Marcia, who is our commissioner. We live in District 5, south of Stockton, and included the assessor's office in that. Just to recap that information, our value in 2025 was 531,000. Our value in 2026 was 595,000. We did call and discuss with Heather. She did a walkthrough and then decreased the value to 587,000. So it only went down a small amount.
And is this residential?
This is residential, yes.
New build,
No, it
No.
was built at 1996.
96, I think it was built, and we just purchased it last October.
that's right. I remember.
So it was
Yeah.
on the market for 105 days,
Right,
starting at listed at 575,
and you bought
went
it.
down to 550, went down to because no one's making offers on it, down to 525. No one's making offers on it. It goes down to 499,000. That's when our realtor said, this is at least a reasonable price. Acreages don't come up if you want to go after it, which
Sure.
we did. So
And that
it
was 96.
No,
No.
It
Last
was,
year.
it was built,
26.
it was built in 96.
96. So
They
we
just
just purchased it last October.
Right.
So yeah,
You purchased it for $4.99.
we purchased it for
four- yeah.
$4.99,
Thank
but it had been on the market for 105 days,
Yep.
started at $575. Our realtor's telling us it's too high.
Yeah.
It's $550, it's too high. It's $525, it's too high. At $4.99, she said it's at least reasonable. If you want it, go get it. So
Okay.
we purchased it at $4.99. And then this spring, it was valued at $535 at the time, and then it's up to, so we're at 100,000 above our purchase price in October. So we're
So-
biased, of course, but we can't help but look at that and think.
That's our market
something's wrong.
value. So we spoke to a real estate lawyer and he suggested we have an appraisal done. So last month we had it appraised and she used 6 comparables that were in our area, had recently sold, were acreages.
And she
And-
started out with, now I might come back higher than what the county assessed it at.
Yeah.
So
And we knew that. We
We
just
were-
wanted an honest
she was
appraisal.
honest with us and she warned us. So she said, you may not be happy with what I come up with, but she said she also stands behind her work. So she
Yeah,
was
she's
very
not
thorough
gonna-
with what she gave to us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
personally, we feel, of course, our weight is the purchase price. It was sold in this market to a willing buyer, which is what your website says you are trying to replicate.
And it had been
Ah.
on the market all summer.
Yeah.
And hadn't sold, so.
So yes.
So yeah,
So we went, and our lawyer suggested, well, if you're gonna be in court, go get a third-party assessment value. And so regardless of claims of what the market was doing at the time we purchased it, which again, for us, we feel like our purchase price within a few months is the real number everyone should be striving for, but we went ahead and got an assessed value that was slightly higher.
yeah,
What was the appraised value?
the appraised value was 515,700.
Say that again.
515,700. So slightly more than we paid for it, but a lot lower than the
What the
assessed value is. May 11th.
So
And
that's
you're
what
not-
we would like.
You're
it.
not ready to sell and move on.
We hope to be here 25 years
And-
at least. And we know we have an acreage with lots of snow and tree removal. We're hoping for 25 good years. So this is the year to get it addressed if we're going to get it addressed. in our
Yeah,
minds.
we-
And we are all for, we're not trying to pay, we're all for paying our fair share. You build and maintain communities through good school systems, whether it be character counts or kindness clubs. That's how you build a community. We're all for that. It's just, we're at about 117% and what you claim is 90 to 105. And I know no one really cares so much about individual properties. It's countywide, but we feel like we can't help but feel like we're being a little taken advantage of. But the 515,700, we would be happy with that. It's at 103%. It's at the upper end of your stated scale. But that sounds much better to us than the 117%. So
The 587 that we have is at, I don't have a calculator.
It's 117.6% of what we paid for it.
Of what you paid for it.
And
Okay.
it's 113.8%
Of
of the
the
appraised
appraised.
515,000.
The difference between our assessor value and their appraisal is 71,003.
Right, but now there's an 8,400, who came up with that figure? A reduction of
the
8,400?
assessors.
The assessor.
So we,
Heather did.
we went through the initial call. We'd like to challenge this. They came out and did a walkthrough and they did a small correction for, I think they had the entire house being wood floors and part of it's carpeted. And so they moved it down
Oh,
from the
well, that
590.
makes so much difference. I mean, my gosh, people. So you got a floor, that's a good thing, right?
Are there any other questions from the commissioners for,
Could you please remind me what you're requesting?
515,700. So just to go with the,
That's the third party
appraised val-
assessor, which,
appraisal.
okay, so maybe we got a pretty decent deal on the property, but and
that's, that's what we would try to get out of it if we were turning around to sell it,
yeah.
is 515. That's how we would come up with that market value that we would.
and do you have Or did you share with the assessor's office a copy of that?
We did send that. We
Okay,
had 6
Yeah.
comparables, all within the past 18 months.
Super, so they.
All within like 12 miles of our home. So she wasn't reaching. And some, of course, were a little higher, a little lower, and then she made adjustments based on location, number of bathrooms, bedrooms, and all of that. So
Yeah.
she's very, we have a great opinion of her because it was recommended by her lawyer. She started out the conversation with, I might be higher than what this county assessed it at. So
Yep.
she prepped us with, I'm an honest person, but I'll stand by my work. So we feel good about her number.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Well, you're throwing a lot of numbers out, so I'm looking at, we have it at 587, you'd be happy with 515, so that's
A reduction of 71.
71.3
70, almost 72,000.
thousand.
And we just paid
Okay.
$499 for it last October.
Okay,
So-
all right,
Otherwise, I would like to give the assessor's office. an
I'm doing my
opportunity-
pencil math, so.
Otherwise, I would like to give the assessor's office an opportunity to respond or share additional information. If there's no more questions for the
Thank you.
property owner, thank you very much.
I did not walk through the property. That's why Heather's here. I did get a chance to review quickly the appraisal. I did have a few issues with the appraisal, and I'm just gonna run through those. Yeah, go ahead. The few issues I had with the appraisal, it was a little bit more difficult to follow because they utilized an agricultural appraisal form versus a residential appraisal form, so that just made it a little more difficult to follow. So there was no sales comparison grid where it shows what adjustments were actually made for bedrooms, bathrooms, floorings, acreage.
I know how-
None of those things were in there. I'm sure they were made somewhere. The subject and the comparable sales were given a 1 acre site, while the one property that she gave the most weight to was given a 2 acre site with no reasonable explanation of such. I'm not sure why everything else was given a 1 acre site and the subject, and the property she gave the most weight to was given a 2 acre site. There was no quantitative support for the external and functional obsolescence. There was 20% functional obsolescence on the Peaches property and 10% external obsolescence. The external obsolescence did say it was due to increased building costs, inflation, and uncertain foreign trade policies.
What does that mean, obsolescence? I
Out,
mean, I know what it means in
outs-
general, but in. this application-
outside factors that can affect the sale.
Okay.
The functional obsolescence would be inside, say there's an elevator going top and bottom, maybe somebody put an elevator in for somebody in a wheelchair. You know, that would be considered probably a functional obsolescence because that's not necessary kind of deal.
Okay.
So there was a 20% functional and 10% external with no quantitative support for either. There was one of the sales comps that she did have in there that was built in the 60s, and when it sold, needed a ton of work. The other thing I had an issue with is when I was looking through this, each comp was listed as a superior property. So that means every comp she used was saying that that sale or house was better than what she was doing her valuation on. The reconciliation page, it should have an analysis on why things were weighed a certain way or why one was given more weight in the analysis, but it was just definitions of each approach. So there wasn't any explanation of how this number came to be. And then I already talked about the negative adjustments. But I guess for now, that's kind of, I just had some issues with the way it was done. It was, I would have assumed a comp study would have included higher and lower quality properties. This indicated that every property she used was of better quality.
Hello, I'm Heather with the assessor's office. I went and did a walkthrough along with JR. He's another appraiser. in our office. So it was two people that walked through. And we walked through on 4/23. And I did inform the Peaches that, part of the value change, why it went up so much, is when they bought the house, we actually originally only had it at 10 acres. And they had it surveyed, the survey came back, and there's actually 13.57 acres. So that's where you're seeing some of the value.
But is that classified rural ag or forest land, or what rate is the extra 3 acres?
$8,000 an acre.
Yep, 8,000. Yep, excess acres is what we have it listed as.
But it's not cropland, is it?
No,
It's woods.
it's
and-
woods.
Woods and
Yep.
deer and coyote and turkey habitat.
Yep.
Okay.
So last year's, sorry. So for the 10 acres value of land only, we had it listed at 135,000 alone for land for the 10 acres. With it going up to the 13.57 acres, the land value went up to 163,600. So it went up $28,600 difference in that one.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Were you aware it was 13 acres or 10 acres?
We were aware that it was, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was aware it was 13 itself. So on Beacon, it said plus minus 10. So from that, I drew, it was not,
but on the sales sheet, when they sold the house, did it say 13
I think it
acres?
said plus minus 10.
Okay, I was just.
But I got on Beacon and you can do your own polygon with the measurement, and it
Yep,
was
yep.
13. And then I have regrid, which is what I use to keep track of.
I'm just curious if you knew.
Yeah,
that.
but
Okay.
so yeah, for the average person to look at it, it's an unsurveyed acreage. If you care to look, you can just go on
I'm
the
good. I already did.
website's own and draw it.
Yeah, I've done it many times.
So Heather, the property itself went up 28.6.
No, sorry. So from the total value of the house and land, in 2026, it was 531,300. And that was with, like I said, the 10 acres of land, because that's what we had it originally. In 2027, with the updated change in the land value, we had a total value of 595,400. When we walked through, we did notice that there was a difference in the flooring. We originally had it as wood and tile. There was not, it was wood and carpet. So that difference was $8,400. So that brought the house down to, for the building alone for the house, was 423,400. So that means the total value for the 2027 with the house change and the land value came to 587,000.
But the additional 3 acres was 28,000.
Yes, it went up 28,600 with the additional
the additional
3.57 acres. So that's where we get the total of the original of 595,400. But with the difference in the flooring, which brought it down,
Yep.
587,000.
Commissioner Begley, do you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you help explain the difference between the assessed value and the market value, which is what we're held accountable to by the state, is what houses actually sell for versus what they're assessed at? If the house was just sold in last October.
Yep.
Why was it so much less than the assessed value? It sold for $499
Mhm.
and it was assessed at 575. I'm sorry, it was listed at 575.
Right.
Is there a reason why the difference? Was it a fire sale? Did it? I mean,
Nope.
is-
No, nope.
You can't, but that's a powerful argument. If they bought it in October at $499, that's
Right.
the market value, right?
Yep,
Mhm.
yeah. And so everybody's opinion of a value of property is everybody's opinion. So they were like 499, good. This one,
Right.
Yep,
she's
yep.
like,
Me and another person in the
Treasurer?
office, we walked through, and we came back and compared notes, and
and
Yep.
we changed the flooring. Other than that, nothing.
the appraisal that was done was a third different number.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Kind of where it all comes from.
And the thing with this,
Sorry.
But I guess my thing is
Commissioner-
this,
And, Ms. Chubb, Ms.
there
Wilbur.
is no doubt you all good at your jobs. There's no doubt
Yep.
about that. But this one to me is a little bit cut and dry. Owning multiple properties, and I can definitely understand picking apart the other side of it. There's no doubt, you know what you got going on there. Lindsay, you're good at what you do. But this one's pretty cut and dry. I mean, if we say the $800,000-900,000 building down there, which makes no sense why it got bought, but it sets a precedent for everybody else.
Mhm.
And then we turn around and say, well, what you were willing to pay for this, it doesn't set the same precedent. That's a double standard to me, because it was on the market in a fair amount of time. This is what somebody's willing to pay for it. And then we turn around and say, well, actually, you were wrong. Well, that's like me saying that $800,000 building, I don't agree that was an $800,000 building. Don't go raising my taxes because of that. It's the same, it's a double standard. So in my situation, I think a very fair thing to do here is to work off from a realized thing that they said. There was $515,700. We can arguably say, hey, there's three acres here that, probably should be taxed. And if we say that $28,000 exists, because it does exist, it's a bonus. Congratulations, you just got 3 extra acres. I wished I could have that happen to me. Trust me, it'd be the other way in my world. If we add that to this, that's $543,700. And if we add 1% to that, which is roughly $5,000, comes up with $548,000. If we look at the 595 and the 499, that's almost exactly half. And half of that half is actually a realized gain for you by picking up additional 3 acres.
Mm.
So that would be a fair, if we subtracted that 28,000 off from there, you're very close to the number you would have been satisfied with. And to me, that's a way to kind of split it. You gain 3 extra acres, and we still really are working off the 499 mark. We're just saying the 515 that you were happy with, add the 3 acres, and we're there. So I would say that'd be a starting point in my world to try to make this fair. If that was a 2-3-year-old sale, I think we'd have an argument point, but that's not that long ago.
Ms. Wilbur, you had a question, and then you, Commissioner Ward?
I'm not quite done, sorry.
Okay.
I have one more thing. And for the square footage of this house, it is a really big house that has a 3-car garage. The only increase it did have besides the land to make it correct, was the $19 increase of base per square foot. And it looks like we have a square footage of heated square feet of 2,136. So just so you guys are aware of that as well. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Being that the, my brain, I've been here since 5 a.m. My brain's not working anymore. They had their appraisal done and they had a survey drawn. The 3 point, whatever it was, acres. That change year over year, just land change year over year was 28,600.
Mhm.
Land itself from assessment 25 to 26 did not change.
Correct.
That's what I was.
Yep, yep.
Wondering.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Ward?
that was a question I had. Bob, you're our resident expert. Woodland in that neighborhood, is that selling for $8,000 an acre? It's,
Bob, if you answer, I want you to come to the podium.
or if you don't want to answer, that's fine too. I mean, but you're my resident expert on land sales. It sounds
I would
reasonable.
want to take a look at that, at that area. We have had some sales where the woodland and not even top woodland has been selling for much higher prices.
But then they're usually buying it for hunting and such. I mean, 3 acres, nobody would buy for
It's the
hunting.
$900,000.
And I have another meeting to go to, and I did have a few notes for you, but I'll leave you this one. We just had a record month of home sales in May. There were 79. 77% of the sales were above county market value. The assessor will be working with that. You'll probably be seeing that. And what it shows is demand, that there is keen interest in homes, and there is significant demand at present to buy them.
You know, one of the things that I think, Commissioner Vagley was worried about who was owning our farmland a while ago. Who, are these people Winona County residents and they're just moving within the county?
sure
Or
Ward will say
do we
that.
have a migration
Yeah,
in
that's right.
from outside you can just.
We've got documentation
yeah,
on that,
Usually this.
and I think it's still current, and I'll get that for you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
You have anything
Oh.
else you wanted to tell us?
No, that was it.
Great, I
Yeah.
really appreciate your
You
presentation.
know, I'm
Um,
confused, because recently in a family situation, we had to have a house appraised and assessed. And neither one of them cared that that house was virtually destroyed internally. I mean, electrical outlets were damaged, holes in the ceiling to put new lights without installation. A bathroom was tore out, gutted, not put back together. That didn't seem to matter to them at all. And you seem to, we changed their taxes because they had carpet versus wood. They were metropolitan, it was a metropolitan area. It was basically square footage. No, I need to know what the square footage is. I don't care that the house is not sellable because of its condition. They didn't seem to care about condition, and we seem to put a lot on condition. So I'm confused. Is that our personal preference, or is that the state rules? Or, to me, square footage would, maybe be more equitable. Like my personal house, all the appliances are, 35 years old. They're all breaking. I had an assessor come through. Yeah, and yeah, come on in. The carpet's worn, the tile, it just.
Is your
Can we please
is your
stay on this?
washboard rusty?
Yeah, it is. I have one.
Can we please stay on the
Well,
topic of this particular?
Why the difference? Why would a metropolitan assessor appraiser have a different standard than a Winona County one? I don't understand it.
What was your number?
548.
Yeah, what's your figure?
Yeah, 548.
I'm gonna make a motion based on the current sale. I appreciate the work put into this. But looking at what they asked for with the additional land value at a 1% puts us at 548.5. I think that's reasonable and justifying just because there are 3 acres that weren't getting taxed that were found out. So that's gonna be my motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So Commissioner Elsing's made a motion that we reduce the property value to 548, 548,000,
548,500.
which is a reduction of 39,000 from what the assessor's office,
Reevaluated.
yes, reevaluated. Commissioner
But I
Ward
do
has
have a
comment.
question, because we do land different than house different. So are we reducing the house? I mean, do we have to make that distinction? Because you assess land different than you do houses,
So the 3 acres is there,
right?
3 acres is there, so I'm assuming we would adjust it according to
To the How,
the house.
okay.
That's why I said that. Oh,
yeah,
okay. I made the 28,000 on the land
Yep.
base, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Any further comments? Hearing none. Okay, so all those in favor of Commissioner Elsing's motion to reduce the value, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, please say nay. Okay, motion carries.
Clarification, 548.5?
correct.
Oh, 548.5?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, next is Hy-Vee. Is there a representative from Hy-Vee in the audience?
Export.
didn't you list them as a tax court
Nope.
participant?
not
No?
file.
Oh, Hy-Vee not.
Thought they were going to.
They did not show up, so that would move to consent business.
Okay, all right.
And is there anyone in the audience that would like us to hear their appeal who did not sign up? Would you please come forward and tell us who you are? Are you Miss?
Larry Green.
Larry Green.
We have two Hy-Vees on here.
Yes, there are 2 Hy-Vees on there.
What's their other location?
Larry Graydon, I live in Mount Vernon Township. I thought I was signed up, but evidently I wasn't. I have some documents here I'd like to share.
Do we need to make copy? Oh, you made copy? Okay.
He's,
No. I don't think so.
This one is Fraser. This one is the insurance person that related value that they put on the homes.
Martha, I think one of those is for Dwayne.
Oh, yeah, this looks like the same thing. I got two of these.
Do the folks in the assessor's office have a copy of the documents? No? All right, I'm gonna give you my copy.
This is the,
I want you to get all this.
county.
Oh, find it first.
Right to highlight. Save you a little time there. And this one is, I think that's what we need there, the 26, 27. Did everybody get the insurance and the?
Insurance and the transmittal
and the-
letter
and
and
the appraisal?
the valuation. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, I did go to the township meeting, and by the way, here's a copy of the appraisal, all the photos and comparables, if anybody wants to look at them, you're welcome to. As you can see, our home that Nance and I built in 2006 for $350,000 is now, according to the assessor, worth a lot more than that. And I went to the Board of Adjustment in Mount Vernon Township. Didn't really get any satisfaction, although there was only 2 board members there. And I just think it's excessive, and I can't believe that it increased that much that quickly. And you know, they got what is it, 27 here? It's put my glasses on.
Can I just clarify, you have a lot of properties, it's just this one you're contesting?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Is this tied in with the farm buildings, Larry?
pardon?
Is this tied in with the heifer shed? Is
No.
this value
No.
tied in with this value? Okay,
Just
Just the
residential,
house.
just residential.
just so the heifer sheds aren't here, are not tied into this.
Did I give you the
correct.
wrong one?
Well, the heifer sheds are on the insurance.
The heifer sheds are on the insurance, Larry, so I was just trying to figure out, are the heifer sheds,
Oh, that's on the insurance, but I'm
is
just
that
talking,
part of this parcel?
no,
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I'm just trying to understand.
it's a separate parcel.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with what the heifer sheds are valued at.
I was just trying to figure out if they were valuing that on this
According to
tax
the
base.
insurance, they're valuing it at 638,200.
Yeah.
You kind of put a little mark there. That's what the insurance values it at.
I'm just making sure I understand where you and Nancy
Yeah.
are at.
The insurance, they're saying the house is 638.
Yeah.
So this is only Larry and Nancy's house. It's none of the outside sheds, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, I know, I don't know how they have it together.
And what's the valuation now? I gave my papers to the assessor.
968, but I'm assuming that's with land in it.
There's 2.5 acres with the house.
Is it 896 without the land, Chelsea? Is that correct?
It's
That was the previous
on the
year.
property
previous year, okay.
description.
So does this have the land in it?
2.5 acres.
Should be
Garage
the
per acre, and then yeah, it's the 2.5 acre piece.
What's the land value? That was, so I don't have to
Yeah,
look it up.
the total, please.
Yep, give me a second.
I just want to subtract it off this 960. So we're looking at building
2.5
value.
acres?
There, he's looking at 07-000-1961. Correct. Okay.
So you're saying that the land is 72,000, 74,900. So that would roughly put, you're saying Larry and Nancy's house is appraised, give or take 890. Yep.
So the land is worth how much an acre?
All right, now 75 divided by 2.5, what are we looking at? 32,000, Larry?
yeah. Well, you got gold
Well,
up there?
and septic.
That's your well and septic on there. Yeah, I can see that, I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, any questions of me? I won't, this is getting later than I thought.
It is getting late, isn't it?
So what's currently assessed is 968,000.
I'd say the land's fair because with a well septic and 2.5 acres, you know, 30, 10, and say 10,000 an acre, I mean, it puts you about 75. So you've got that about right. But what you're saying is that the 893, Larry, versus the 638 for the insurance there's a $260,000 discrepancy.
Well, and,
Yeah.
and the appraisal
Appraisal 750.
And the-
Appraisal 750.
is 750. And like I said, well, the insurance people and the appraiser took photos and measured and all of that stuff. When I talked to the assessors, God bless them, they got a hell of a job, but I talked to them and they said, well, we need to come out, and if we come out, we might raise it because you have wood floors, even though our wood floors
So it
are,
means that if you got, like,
No.
No.
you decreased it because you had.
Yeah.
carpet.
even though our wood floors are pine floors, they're not hardwood, we went with the cheaper option. They have little nicks in them. I call that character. But, so, you know, I talked to two different people, once a guy and once a gal, and they both said, well, if we come out, we might raise it. So I thought instead of doing that, I got an appraisal, and they do the same thing. They measure everything. They're probably go to the same school or pass the same test. So that's what I did, and I don't want to raise any more. So I just decided to do that, and I will yield to your judgment. If there's any other questions of
question?
me.
It's a pretty big deal.
And you've done no major improvements since
We
you
haven't
built it?
changed a thing since we built it. We built it like we wanted, and nothing's changed.
Sure. And what, again, Mount Vernon?
Mount
Township?
Vernon Township, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Larry. This is the house for.
That makes sense. 'Cause insurance is just, yeah, 75.
I do want to start with any call we get, we tell them we could lower it, it could stay the same, or it could go up. We just want everyone to be aware of that. Larry's called a couple years in a row, and every time we have offered to do a walkthrough, we have not been allowed to do a walkthrough by statute. We do not make a change. So we did not make a change.
By statute, you can't make a change because they don't allow a walkthrough?
Correct. We don't know the quality or the condition of the interior of the buildings. So you could have a barn that's made into a house, but if we can't go through it, we don't know that.
Statute is that,
I do not know
but
offhand.
it is, somebody can
Yes.
provide that to me. That's.
They're on the Google.
That seems criminal. It's your private property. It's your.
But how are we going to know what
Nobody
the?
needs to go through your home.
Mhm.
I see.
So
the
then we
reason-
don't make,
I see the reason that they have to do it.
yeah, so if we don't know what quality or condition is, I mean, you could have a beautiful exterior and a very cruddy interior, or vice versa. If you want to have an adjustment, that appraiser who did the appraisal for him went through his home. That's how they have to do it.
It just, again, the system is very
Yep.
anti-constituency.
And on top of that, it is, the square feet of the house is 3,685 square feet.
So Lindsay, can you explain something to me? So prior to last year, and I realize we're not moving that, I'm just curious, you know, a very large jump from last year to this year. Was there a large jump between the year before to this year, to 2025?
One moment, I can get that.
Now, this property, oh wait, you're probably income, the problem is income, because those tax refunds are based on income too, property tax.
Refunds, yeah.
Both.
Yeah, they're
It's
based on
year
income.
Year and income. There's two different portions of it.
Yeah,
This will qualify for green acres.
The year prior was 4.83%.
So that would have been,
What?
The year prior to that parcel
Yeah.
went up 4.3,
it was about 850.
4.83 prior.
So in 24, it was 850, in 25, it was 896, and in 26, it jumped up to 968.
That sound right?
Correct.
I mean, I'm just give or take.
Probably pretty close. Yeah, on that.
Are there any other questions for the assessor?
So is there a reason for quite kind of that really big jump on that, or?
Square footage and the base rate.
That was it. That was the base rate that everybody got.
Oh, everybody's went up that.
Yeah. So it's $19 for almost 4,000 square feet.
And we don't set the base rate.
We do.
But it's,
But
But
the
it has to
state
get
does.
to.
it was,
It was one of the changes we did to get the residential properties into compliance. In the
That's a
statute you were
base.
asking about,
You're asking,
this price per square foot went up 19, but that was to keep us within the 90 to 105.
right, but again, in my opinion, the price should only go up like on new construction because old worn out construction isn't the same dollars and cents.
the
Sorry,
statute you had
people.
asked about, Mrs. Ward,
It's just not.
273.2.
273.2,
Yes.
and there's some numbers in front of that, isn't there?
Nope.
Just statute, Minnesota statute 273.2. Okay,
Okay,
all right. Well, our local legislators need to learn this
there you go.
better and
Any other questions for either the property owner
So
or
how-
the assessor?
So question for you, Lindsay, how do we're always working off some other number, right? And it comes to a point where, this is somewhat real. An insurance company is gonna have some sort of a fair value to what something is to replace it.
Not disagreeing.
And then you have, pretty reputable person here at American Consulting. I know who these people are. And then, but we're always just working off from, and again, this isn't on you, but this is everybody that's got a property like this to where it is today, right?
Right.
And I feel this too, because I feel that I have multiple properties that I would struggle, I think, trying to get an assessed value out of them. And so is there a point where we reset and say, hey, yeah, this $19 got carried on to what it already is, but there's clear and concise evidence from, multiple insurance companies or, something like this. I have a policy with Bloomfield, Larry, so they actually do my house too, because houses that tend to be higher in value is kind of hard to find good insurance for, and this is a great company, and I think they have my house appraised very fair, what it's worth. And of course, I'm always trying to downplay because I don't want to pay the policy. But how do we say, okay, we're just out of whack? We're just too high,
We might be. That is why we sent out those valuation notices.
But and I look at this and say, this isn't necessarily what you're at. I'm just saying this is cumulative. That's why I asked to go back, and I'm kind of looking for a trend. Like at some point, the county superseded the value of this place and it continues to grow. And now we are $250,000 over, and we have to go, whoa, hold on. Because when we stack these, it's a lot of times, like I say on these, when we hand out 3% raises, the person making $200,000 and the person making $40,000, there's a big difference.
Mhm.
So when we come in and do these, raise my taxes 25% on a $200,000 building, and $1 million building is a big difference. And so I think my question is this isn't even specific to Larry, but when we have some concise evidence with this, how do we kind of reset that? And especially if we can only move it a small percentage.
So
Makes sense.
again, I'm just going to reiterate the whole mass appraisal portion of it, right? That's how we do it. And we send out the valuation notices. And if you think this is ridiculous, that's when you call us and we
That's
come
very
out to your
close.
property. You have to let us through the property to make a good assessment.
So, yeah, and I don't, and that, that's Larry's right to do that, but at the same
Yep.
time, do we have the ability?
We've gone to
say-
properties in the past during quintile. And you're like, that's not worth that. And you do lower it.
Yeah.
It's when it's quintiled, if that number makes sense with the information from the exterior. If we are not allowed in the interior, then we make gross assumptions about condition, rooms, appliances. We kind of have to go from there.
In your opinion, and again, you've got a very difficult job. In your opinion, in a situation like this, which, and I can back this up because I work with Bloomfield, they don't make unfair assessments to drive policy premiums up. I can concur with that. Anybody can get this is not against Mr. Graydon, but anybody can get an appraisal and say, because I'm guilty, make it this number, right? We can make an appraiser number, but insurance companies tend to not lie. And they tend to be on the high side, if anything. So at the end of the day, I guess in your opinion, what's your take on this? Having, I'm not gonna say this is conclusive evidence, but seeing that there is a pretty large discrepancy here, how do you view this? How do we justify this 250,000, 200,000, whatever it is?
I understand your question. I would say over the past 4 years, maybe, when you call, just let us come in. We would have never gotten here. I don't appraise that area for multiple reasons, but we just go by the laws. If we can go through the property, yes. If Heather, I don't know the next time you're doing Mount Vernon and they're,
Maybe next year I go through, I have not done that area, and you did that assigned area.
I do think Mount Vernon is next
I
year.
guess the,
I think it's next year.
And he has called every year and I've told him, I said, we are more than happy to come out and take a look at your property. I said, it can go either way. It could go up, it could stay the same, or it could go down, depending on what we have and what is actually on the property.
But what have you,
Wait,
what have you
so
observed
Commissioner,
that you
I'm
jumped
sorry,
at that
Commissioner Bagley's
much?
been waiting for the floor, so pardon me.
Apologize. What was the assessed value last year again? You mentioned, someone mentioned it earlier.
850?
896.
896.
gonna jump to 960.
Oh, the previous year was 850.
Yep. And the only reason for the jump was the base rate of the $19 per square foot.
For all residential.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So how many square feet did you have it? $19 a square foot increase.
3685.
Yep, 3,685 heated square feet, yes.
Is that living space? Is that garage and everything?
No garage,
it's
no
conditioned
porch,
space.
So what, three?
No basement, 3,685 square feet.
Well, I'm gonna go back to being in real estate. I use that 3% raise increase. It's easy to not allow it to get under on a $200,000 property or $300,000 property. When you look at these base rate increases, they can catch up a little quicker to fair market value. When you go to the high side and you start adding percentage bases, they can get out of fair market value
That's why
very
we-
quickly. And that's what I think Mr. Graydon is trying to say is, hey, I'm on the upper echelon. When you start stacking 3% on a $200,000 salary or an $800,000 house, it throws you out of fair market value very, very quickly because those higher valued houses don't appreciate rapidly. We also have to understand where are we seeing the increase in value? It is lower to mid-level houses are going up very quickly. The high-level houses are not going up that fast. So that's the flaw in the system when we use percentage-based increases on these types of properties. And I think they get out of whack very, very quickly. Commercial real estate can do the same thing. So it's the ability of, it makes sense on paper, but it doesn't make sense when it comes down to writing the checks out. So in this situation, I think what we have is a ballooned effect from multiple increases that have pushed it way out of fair market value. And so although I don't think we can bring this back down to maybe a $750,000 valuation, Larry, I do think there's a little wiggle room here to try to stop some of this hyperinflation on the higher end when we do these types of things. So by the book, Lindsay, 100%. You did it by the book, right? But the reality of it is that this is going to get snowball out of control next
Yeah.
year if this happens
And
again.
you as a board can make those adjustments.
Yeah.
We at that time.
I think we got to figure out a way how to do this.
Mr. Ward?
But you said the only reason that it went up was there was 3,685 feet, and I just did 20 because it's easier math. 20, that's not these figures. That's only
Correct.
7,300.
So that is a base rate change.
80,000.
It also goes, yeah.
But it doesn't add up to what you got it
Man.
at.
So part of that,
Just to help her.
okay,
It doesn't add up to that. And then I hate to say this, but we don't have personal property tax in Minnesota yet, do we? My opinion, when you go into that house and you're looking at how they live and everything, that's personal property. That's not what
we're
the
not
house-
looking at that.
Well, you said you look at the appliances and you look at the floor, if it's wood or.
We do look at,
carpet
you're
and-
not taking the floor with you when you leave or sell the house.
No, but
That's part of the house.
it's
We don't look at the personal property. We look at the shell
inside the house to make an.
to check the quality and condition of the property. And verify, you know, oh, I could say it's only one bathroom, but now I got 4. It's verification.
Okay, so are we ready to, anyone ready to propose? Yes, Commissioner Hagan.
When the appraisal was done, Larry, did they mention, or does our assessor department know what comps are for this house? This
No.
property?
I,
Showed the appraisal to the assessors at the.
town board meeting, you passed it around.
Passed it around.
Yep, so were there any comparable?
Yeah, there's 6 of them. We'd like to see them.
In Mount Vernon Township? In Mount Vernon?
No, I had it out there.
In Mount Vernon Township, there's 6 comparables?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I didn't study them. I
okay,
think.
because it should be your neighborhood, right?
I think that-
Similar.
Not necessarily direct neighborhood.
Right.
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 but- Well, it says district, so that's your township.
Yeah, Commissioner Nelson.
So I just gonna go stand back to what I've said before. This is a flaw in how we tax and assess and move things up on a percentage basis. I try to bring it back to a fair market value scenario. And the easiest way to explain it is if you could buy a house for $150,000 and there's a 10% increase, it goes to 165. You can easily get that value back out of that. The same 10% on a $900,000 house drives it to 990. You've got to go get that.
But we are kind of turning over the same information. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if anyone's ready to,
Got a figure
kind
in
of
mind?
move forward.
I guess I don't think we can get it back to where it was. But I think we can kind of stop the hyperinflation with some of these things. I think there's enough evidence from some pretty reputable things here. Pretty hard to fool an insurance company. You know, there's not a prorate on this where they're saying, hey, the 638 is, 80% of the value. It is a full value. I mean, the best I can see, unless somebody hand typed that up. So I guess I would move to at least leave the appraised value of what it was in 2025 to not add the hyperinflation on a property that's probably arguably already 10 to 20% overvalued.
So you're saying
High side, Larry, but it's better than. Yep.
Okay.
What was it? I'm sorry.
I made a motion to leave it at 896, which is gonna put them at the 105%.
This.
Right.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Elsing, seconded by Olson, set the value at 896 to 800. I personally am not going to support that motion. I feel like it undercuts, our assessor's office. The law tells them that they need to be able to inspect the property, and I understand that Mr. Greedon didn't want that, but that does stop them from being able to do their jobs and potentially do the reevaluation. I feel like that allows people to then circumvent the system. I'm not going to support the motions. Anyone else?
Just a comment, I'm trying to figure out on these comps if they're even where they are. It doesn't list parcel number or address. Some of them got their section township range, so Wilson Township, St. Charles Township, Warren Township, Wilson, and then Wabasha County, Oakwood Township.
It's gonna be hard to find those values.
Right, I was just
Mount Vernon, yeah.
trying to see if it's
One comment.
neighbors or not, and these sales dates are 2024 and 2025, it looks like.
Commissioner Elsing,
Just for
then I think
context.
Commissioner Ward wants to make a comment.
I would agree to that, but what's a very powerful document is this. Because I list virtually everything, my house, my buildings, what type of floor, what type of siding, what type of roof, how many year roof. I mean, it's very thorough as to really what's in there, although it's not listed out, but those questions are all asked to generate that. And there's nothing on here, knowing this company, that I have the ability to downplay how much coverage I want based on value that says, hey, this is only 80% of assessed value. This is a full market value from your insurance company. It is not a reduced market value. So being in real estate, knowing this stuff, there's a lot of conclusive evidence that says, hey, this is a product of hyperinflation.
Commissioner Ward?
Yep. Well, I appreciate the participants coming tonight. The Peaches left and Larry's here
And we have one, at least one more to go.
yeah, we have one more, but you've provided the information we need to make a decision. I thank you for that because, you know, that didn't come free, you know, to get your appraisal and everything. So I do appreciate people doing their homework and our room should be packed instead of 5 people. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing none. Motion on the table is made by Commissioner Elsing, seconded by Commissioner Olson to set the value for 26, the same as it was in 25, 896, 800. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Nay. So I fails.
4-2.
Four.
4-2 in favor, 4 in favor, 2
Yeah.
opposed.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I want to take those sheets back.
Oh, I'm gonna get to take them home and study them. Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for your support.
For doing your homework.
I gave mine to the assessment.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Larry, can we keep one set for the meeting minutes?
we have to have one at least to document what you gave us.
Okay.
So
But what?
you get to pick. you get to-
Chelsea has one. There you go.
Thanks, Larry.
Chelsea, make sure that.
We'll
Taylor
put them
gets
up
them
on,
for the-
Larry, we'll put them on Facebook as we leave.
Well, just don't let them
Well,
steal our identity like happened
Right.
in January.
Yeah.
My wife
the-
got
it
stolen
needs to
on
be
January
redacted.
22nd.
Oh, your identity? Yeah,
Oh,
there's
that's
no,
terrible.
yeah.
So
That's a coordinated
Yahtzee,
thing or
would
not?
you come to the podium and share your comments with
Thank
us?
you, Larry.
Thank you.
Safe drive home.
We'll send a letter out.
Yeah, so I'm Nathan Utzi.
Yutzi, sorry.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really unprepared. I got my tax notification a little late due to a mailing error and then I called in. Lindsay was out. She's great. I think I called at whatever time of day and an hour later she was there.
And this is out in, which township is this?
So this it's Saratoga Township.
Saratoga. Okay.
So the partial ID is R 14.000 3 zeros.
Yep,
0.0210.
gotcha.
So the problem we're having is the value of this property. And I understand now I need to get a appraiser and have it appraised. I didn't have enough time and I don't know, here I am, but so last year we got our taxes, this valuation notice, and it was 2,567,000. And I fell down on my chair and barely got up and scratched around, and at last I got over it and I thought, well, we're gonna have to do something about this. And then this year it comes and it says it's $1,675,000 increased. We built the building a year and a half ago. So then Lindsay says, well, it was not done and there was, I guess that was just an estimate at first, and now they've got this. So now it's up to $4,230,000 for this commercial property. And we paid like 600,000 for the property,
And how many acres is that?
40 acres.
40 acres.
We thought we paid a ridiculous amount. We paid 15,000 an acre for it.
You did.
And it had a trailer house on it and had a little shed on it. So we're in the process of getting a house built on it, and I'm just trying to figure out what in the world's next thing is gonna happen. What is this property gonna become? But are we gonna sell it? I said, if I can get $4 million out of this, I'm gonna sell it. Go somewhere else and build something else. So I had a realtor out today, and he took a look and he gave me some advice, which was get a couple appraisers and get it appraised, or one appraiser, or this third-party appraiser, or whatever. And I know the square footage stands against us. The problem we have is, and what the realtor told me is, you know, he said, there's a lot of Amish properties that we build buildings, but we can't get out of them what they're trying to say here. And we don't have electricity, we don't have HVAC and all the modern things. You rattle off a whole bunch of stuff, but we don't have the modern conveniences in our buildings, and we don't build them maybe as, oh, I shouldn't say as good, but this is just a wood stick building. It's not like a steel building or a, you know, quite as, it's not like some commercial buildings, I might say, or a lot of commercial buildings. So I have a value of this property at like 2.1 million is what I have in this property. And
I apologize.
Invested?
yeah,
Is that what the realtor said, or that's your?
no, that's what I have in it.
Okay, what you built it for and what you bought it for.
That's my total and what I have in the property.
Okay.
The property, the buildings and everything.
Do they have a realized labor though on that? Because-
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
We do.
yeah,
It's Amish labor.
well,
Yeah.
and that's one of the issues is that, yeah,
Well-
because we've run into this before and I've done this too. Sweat equity
Yeah.
still gets taxed.
Right.
That's the problem.
And I'm fine with whatever's
Yeah.
fair. I'm fine with that. It's just, it's so out of proportion. And then Lindsay told me about this 25% increase across the board. And, you know, we haven't even had a number yet. We didn't even have a number and we're, I mean, it's not that we had a number before and now it's 25% up.
That number you're looking at.
Yeah, well,
In here, Lindsay?
What?
That's in here? Okay.
right, but what I mean, there wasn't even a number on the property prior, because this is just brand new. So I don't know how that all works. Nobody ever gave me any, like a list of how we get, all I have is this. I don't know what I have, you know, this is all I have. I don't have no
No breakdown.
spreadsheet of nothing. I don't know how we come up with these numbers. And the biggest problem is, comparing apples to apples, like where's our comparables? Where's our, comparison sales? I don't know. All I know, if I can sell it for this, I want to sell it. But I do know I can't sell it for this is what the realtor told me today, you know. And a far cry from it. So it's like Lindsay told me over the phone, I think it was today, when I called her, she said, you can go take a house has only got this much value. And you can take this house and you can put a $60,000 kitchen into it and the value will not go up 60,000. And that's about what I got. I got a piece of property and we're valuing it by the square foot or some, I don't know how we're valuing it all, but and all of a sudden we got a value that we can't even get out of. You know, we can't get our money out of this thing. And if I'm gonna have to pay taxes, I don't know what my taxes will be next year. I don't know on this thing. I don't know what this year was 44,000. I do not know what, and it went up 1.6 million. So I have no idea what my tax is gonna be next year. If I build a house on it, I have no idea what that, but that's all beside the point. I ran out of time, I guess. I was just behind. So getting it appraised is probably what I need to do now. And so I need to appeal the evaluation and whatever we can do at a fair price. That's all I have.
Question for staff, you have a reduction here of $517,000. Where did that come from?
So can we ask questions of, Mr.
Oh,
Z
yeah,
first, and then
are
we
you
can
familiar
let-
with that? I mean, they did.
Okay,
I'm
so she
gonna
did a
let the
change.
staff to respond.
She did do a change. She said since she was there, she was only there like a couple days ago. She reacted really fast. She did awesome.
So what changed, why did they figure they changed?
Well, we can ask her that. in a
Let's
minute.
ask her when she gets
Yeah.
up.
His opinion.
Commissioner
Now,
Clark.
Mr. Bagley, did you have a question for the,
I
town?
want to hear what the property owner, why does he feel it went, what was your case that you got him to drop it 517,000?
Well,
That's a big chunk of change too.
yeah, so I don't think she really explained it
Explained
to
it?
me,
Okay. All right,
but I know that, a lot of it's not heated. A lot of
Okay.
it doesn't have a floor.
Didn't tell
If
you
it
why.
has a floor or if it's concrete, there's a difference. She did look at some of those things and she did make changes according to what she found.
okay,
Because she has not been there since it was done,
okay, all right.
is the
Yeah,
way I
question.
understand.
All right.
Bagley?
It's the first time I met her.
And do you have a question for him?
She said she was there a year ago or so, but but it was not done at that time, I don't think. So I don't know what she's seen or when it was or what it was, but
Okay, I
Uh,
appreciate your perspective.
with walking through, I agree, walking through is awesome. You know, to see what we have or whatever. You can't see the guts of the building, but you can see the insides or see the outsides, you know.
Okay,
So 2 questions for you, sir. If it's okay, and I'm gonna trust you on this, what did the realtor, raise the property at?
So he did not do an actual write-up appraisal. He toured it, he looked at it, and he said, we need to do on a third-party
Did a
appraisal.
market Valuation, right, not appraisal, okay. Is it possible you don't need to do this to pass around to share your proposed thing?
oh,
Is that
No,
what-
this is just the, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's your green sheet.
Yeah,
yeah.
and we'll get it back.
Got it?
That's it for now, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Elton.
Yes, so I'm going to make somewhat of assumption because I agree, not every building is built the same. You know, when we look at a square footage situation, you know, is it a Taj Mahal or that? It's very similar to what I said earlier, because I run into this. The cost to replace a door doesn't matter if it's a 500 square foot building or a 2,000 square foot building, the door costs the same. And that's why people don't understand rents and everything else, because when it comes time to maintenance this, you gotta pay so much, which is why typically in rents, it's higher per square foot in the smaller locations. So we can recognize that. When I saw the $517,000 evaluation, I went on the assumption that that was you coming in saying, hey, yeah, with this building does not have the modern amenities that we would normally find. So looking at this, I just assumed that was a fair, hey, we subtracted out $500,000 because that's the HVAC cost, that's the electric cost, whatever that might be. So that's already to me factored in this. So so my question is what other conclusive evidence do you have? Because we have to make a factual based decision today.
Why I feel like I'm unprepared, not prepared. Because what I've learned here lately is we need comparables and we need an appraisal.
Third
So-
party, yeah.
Third-party appraisal.
It
Those are
factors
the
in if I
two
may
things
extend
I
the phone.
don't have and
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm,
It definitely helps us because
Feel like-
we have to have a findings of fact,
Handicap.
why we think,
yeah.
you know, otherwise somebody just come in here, well, I feel, and then, you know, we don't have anything to gauge off from.
Right, the realtor, Jeff Brogel, he's done a lot of properties for the Amish, sold a lot of properties, and what he finds out is, and I bought property from him, I've sold property through him. And what he finds out with Amish property, it just doesn't bring, what, you know, non-Amish property brings. And this is maybe beside the point,
but you're,
totally.
you're
beside-
buying at a high price though right now. You tend to be
Right.
buying if you bought
Well,
40
yeah,
acres.
it's all beside that's maybe all beside the point. So just, I guess, comparing apples to apples, I haven't seen no comparisons yet. Like, how do we come up with this? In Fillmore County, I was not used to this kind of stuff. It was just, you know, I had the same amount of square footage in Fillmore County. My taxes were like $10,000. And like I said, what it's gonna be next year, I don't know, but it's scary and you know, like you said, we have to start charging more for everything we do and it just doesn't feel right. And is this the world we're in or what's going on? It just, I guess is the problem.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So,
Any other
so no
questions?
other conclusive evidence though.
I don't know exactly what you mean by conclusive evidence.
I'm just looking for something that we can work off from to help you out, but it's gonna be difficult, you know, because now we've got to lean on what we do know, if that makes sense. Now, that doesn't mean next year there's a situation where you could come back with some of this evidence and say, very similar to Mr. Graydon's, but are you gonna be able to get it back to where you think it is? It's gonna be difficult to do that, you know? So it's gonna be difficult to go backwards on this.
Exclusive, yeah, I was buying for time, but there's no such thing. You can't, I don't know how long it
Maybe
takes.
not right
No,
now, probably not today.
right,
Today.
like I didn't know, yeah.
Mr. Ward, do you have a question?
Well, so how much improvements did you make on the property and the building from 25 to 26?
None.
Okay, but we're looking at a 1.6 million increase. So the building was complete
It was.
back on that first year, because the first year was 25. 2,567,000 and now.
I don't know what time of year that you're going by, what time of the year? When?
Cutoff date is January every year.
So January 2nd of 2025,
Was it complete?
it wasn't,
Was
it
it-
wasn't
Cause you were still
quite
working out
complete.
there.
We opened in April. No, it wasn't quite complete.
Wait, but 90%?
Like when the paper came out. it was complete.
Yeah, 90% complete?
In January, yeah, it would have been like 90. Yeah,
Okay,
at least
okay.
90.
Well, we have to ask,
Almost complete.
we have to
yeah.
ask staff where they came up with this 1.6.
That's right.
Let's do that.
Okay. all right,
Thank you very much. Could
Thank
you
you.
take a seat?
Thank you.
Can the assessor's office, please share what information you have?
So I went through the property. I did add 12% functional obsolescence for the electricity on that property. The heating, I did not make an adjustment for. Right now, it's a wood furnace going through hot water heat, which can be adjusted, and have other types of furnaces swapped out. The parcel that, again, it is a very difficult property to find a comp for. But I did find one a little bit similar size-wise. Granted, it's a different location. 16, what is 16? Wilson? No, Warren. Nonetheless, it's a 4-acre lot with versus a 40 built in 2002, sold last year for 2.45. The old FedEx building. It's a big storage building. So that's the only thing I could find that was even somewhat similar. The property is 44,000 square feet, I believe, 44,084 square feet. The commercial building portion of that is 2.599. The rest of it would be the farm, the mobile, there's a barn and there's a shop. I do have pictures of the building itself. There you can see there's a little slab right there. My whole truck fits on that little slab. That gives you an idea of the building size. And I do have interior pictures as well for quality and condition. But I did do this 12%. And that's where that 500,000 came from, for the electricity on that property. Any questions?
That'd be a 12% reduction.
Yep. the
Correct.
500,000.
That's a 517.
Well, that's the 517?
Yep.
Because it doesn't have electricity.
Yeah. Any questions? For staff?
But that's a far cry from the 1.6 increase. So what made it increase if he said it was?
The building
90%?
being finished.
But he said it was 90% finished at the 25 or the
When I
25
had
million.
gone out there and I went in the building and I asked somebody, said,
So did you give it the 2.5 initially?
one,
He had on the green sheet, he had 2.5 million. and
I
then
am
it
only
stepped up to
showing,
42.
yeah,
So-
both of those valuations would have been from me.
Okay, so again, I guess I'm confused. What did you see the increased value to raise it that much?
So when I first went the first time, it was starting to be built, just starting. I mean, they were inside hanging up ceiling. And when I came back, it was completed. So that's why the value changed. We only have 2.55 on that commercial building. The remainder is the rest of the 40 acres in the buildings.
Okay, so what did, I'm sorry, we don't have, so what did his land increase?
Nothing.
And what's that valued at? Do you have that figure?
66,
It's 66, it's right in front of you.
300,
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
so almost 1 million.
Okay, that's the 40 acres.
Correct. I don't know offhand what his soil rating is, but I'm assuming if the land alone is at 1 million, it's probably a higher grade soil.
Barring no other evidence, I'll make a motion that we keep it
We have to.
as is.
Do we need a motion or is it just fall under?
Mm, I accept that motion.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to, yeah,
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Is that something you need to?
Yeah, the five.
You would have to approve it, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
And I want to add, I'll second that motion, is that we would like to have a leg to stand on. Unfortunately, we don't have any other.
Well, we have
So-
to approve the 517, they said,
Yes.
the reduction.
Yeah, so the motion, I think, is to approve the 3.725. Is that correct, Commissioner Olson?
Which is,
Yes.
But it would
which
be,
includes the 517 off.
Yes.
yeah, so it's as stands on the sheet,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I apologize. We wish we could, so the motion was, sorry, Commissioner Olson.
Commissioner Olson made a motion and it was seconded by Bagley to leave the value at the post value total for this property as it was on the sheet, which has got the 517.
And we have subtracted
Thousand
for all the
reduction.
amenities, the that's what the 570 is, I'll be very clear.
No electricity, yep. Any further discussion?
Well, I'm sorry, she brought up the question of the heating, and you see, it seemed a little arbitrary, your comment. It has a non-centralized wood
It does
furnace.
have in-floor heat that is powered by a wood burner.
Oh, yeah, that's big bucks.
Okay, so there's no, you made some comment that it could be changed out at some point.
If at some point somebody did purchase it and wanted to put in a furnace, but I don't know why you would in that type of a
Right,
building.
but there was no deduction for the in-floor
No.
heat wood system.
No.
Okay, well, you made a comment, and I didn't understand what how the
Sorry.
comment. Oh, that's okay, that's fine. Well, we want business. We've got EDAs in this county, and we try to encourage business. The Amish do a great amount of business, and then we're gonna tax them right out of business. I mean, it's just unbelievable and how much of this tax goes for commercial to the state of Minnesota? Percentage.
Here to, I'll pull up the tax statement.
Okay.
Well, we can do that after we motion.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I think we should
other
give him
comments?
more of a reduction.
Any other
I
comments?
just don't have any evidence to do it on, that's the problem.
Okay,
But the
hearing
state
none.
doesn't have enough to raise it either.
All those in favor of this motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is anyone opposed? Okay,
Hey,
Martin.
yeah, I'm opposed.
Okay.
All right, looks like Ms. Church has some words of wisdom to leave us with.
Do you, you are not on this sheet. Did you have a,
I like the rest of the book.
please do. Go ahead.
I came here today, just so you know, my intentions is, I'm running for county attorney. I'm unopposed. I'm just trying to learn things. My intention was to observe quietly. However, it was brought to my attention, a statute that I think the board needs to know and needs to address. A statute, Minnesota statute 274.01 subdivision B. This is going to be regarding not this person. The statute subdivision B, the middle of the statute reads, the board may not make an individual market value adjustment or classification change that would benefit the property owner if the owner or any person having control over the property has refused to let the assessor access and inspect the property and the interior of any building or structure as provided by 273.2. That was the statute reflected that says they need to go look at it. Therefore, I believe that the board cannot make that adjustment that was voted on.
Where are the laminated sheets for Robert's Rules of Order?
Make none? No, we can't make any? No one? Well, then he needs to take, I'm sorry, he needs to take a step. So I'm sorry, I couldn't write that number down fast enough.
Got it right here.
Okay, and what was that other one that I must
It's
have,
referred to in here, Commissioner Ward.
oh,
If-
both
if I
the
may
other
approach-
one? Yeah,
I don't know how to.
yeah, go ahead. I'm not gonna bite you.
I just, in court, we're not allowed.
Yeah,
So this is what she was referring to that says that in order to make a
Oh.
determination, they need to
Get
inspect
back
it.
that-
And then this says if they're not allowed to inspect it, the board cannot
Not.
make that market.
Well, what if I've been to Larry's house?
Well.
Doesn't matter.
I'll make that one.
You're not an appraiser.
Yeah, but I'm
Let me
a
ask you,
board of
could-
equalization. I'm a board of equalization.
Yes. Can Commissioner Elson ask you a question?
But and this is just, I'm not challenging it by any means, but the question I have is it if it's already established? Because is this technically, this has not been established yet. So I could see if it was established, this is proposed, correct?
Valuations are set
My,
for next
this is
Well,
regarding
no,
you.
because
This
they're not, because
statute-
that's what we're doing right now.
Right,
is-
this is, this rule is about you, the board,
Of appeal and equalization.
right, so this is.
What I'm saying though is saying that we can't make an adjustment. Well, adjustment would be if it was already set, it was on the books, and then we come back and said, hey, we're gonna change it, correct?
You're, no, you
Yeah.
vote, no,
Okay, I'm just trying to understand. I'm not here to debate. Oh my, just please I'm trying to understand.
my understanding of what you're doing today is the adjustment.
Correct.
And this
And this
statute.
defines that.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
In the interest of following state statute, I would make a motion that we reconsider the vote.
I'll second it.
Vote, which vote?
I'd be
Larry Grady.
great.
Just
Well, I'm still gonna support the going back because that was on, it's on the statement.
You did vote
If
no.
it's on the statement, so that's not really that's a document.
What's that?
What was it? He took them all now.
You're talking about the insurance? Yeah.
The insurance and the green sheet, I guess I have to refer to it
It's
as.
pretty
the
cut
green
and
sheet.
dry, Commissioner Ward.
Okay, is there any further discussion? This is a debatable motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of reconsidering the vote, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Nay,
Anyone opposed?
nay.
Okay, motion does carry.
I'm opposed only because I need more time to read the rest of it. I apologize.
Okay, so.
Oh, Can we just take a second here? The board may not make an individual market value adjustment. The board shall determine whether the taxable property in the tenant. The board should will determine whether the taxable property in the tenant said yes,
But that was their recommendation.
real or personal property.
Was Mr. Graydon aware of this?
Sure he wasn't.
I don't
know.
Ignorance of the law, excuse me, multiple times. it was just
Assessment.
Mount Vernon.
They need to-
They voted no change and wanted us,
Assessment.
since our system was down, we had to obviously bring it to you guys.
No, was he aware of the state statute?
Yes, he is aware that he needs the walkthrough
No.
before he can do anything.
Before we change value.
Before you did, but how about us? I mean, did he know about this state statute?
We told them that was state statute that we needed to walk through, yes. And the Mount Vernon Council also told him, that it'd be in his benefit to do a walkthrough.
Yes. There's one word was.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll go on a limb, on a motion, based on new information or old information that was newly presented, that we made no change to his valuation as mailed out for 2026.
Okay, that motion. Yep. Yeah, it's made
Taxable property. in this town.
by Auditor Treasurer Wilbraham.
They had my ears. I was trying to read.
Sorry.
I'm just making sure that it's part of this. The board shall determine the tax.
Okay, but all these other people that had issues, you have walked through. You have physically walked through everybody. Mr. Lang? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Yes.
It was walked through in 25 and 24, and I offered it to him this year. But he said because no change, he was willing to just meet me here. For an
Okay,
in-person meeting.
But does the rule say that if I let you in back when I bought the house in 1979, I don't have to let you in again?
No, he offered to let me in. and-
No, by this statute, if I let you in once,
No,
that's not how it reads. Every year I have to let you in?
If you're contesting the value that they gave you that year.
That's not what it says.
But that's what our decisions are, where we are making a decision on the value for this particular year, and if you refuse them access,
So it's whatever year you're appealing is the year that you have to allow them to enter.
He's refused to let us enter.
But it doesn't say that.
Many years.
So
Doesn't say that here.
I would read, so it refers to 27320. And that's where it talks, I'm sorry, Minnesota statute 273.20 refers to, the assessor entering the home, and a property owner may refuse. But that's at denial. The assessor is authorized to estimate the property's estimated market value by assumptions. So that's what they do. And then what this is saying is, so because they denied it, then the board cannot make that change because they've been denied to go look at it. So it refers back to another statute.
Okay,
Which many
Mark,
statutes do.
You said a buzzword, market value. So is Larry Graydon's house the higher figure, the market value? We don't know, well, but not by his appraisal and stuff. Appraisal and tax and
But it
insurance.
doesn't matter. They
There's a
can't
lot of
change
them.
it.
His market value is the building value plus the land value.
But you feel that's at the very high, the big,
I did not see the appraisal. I mean, I glanced at it as he passed it around the room. But I didn't get time to analyze the appraisal, so I don't know the scope of it, or if it was just for the building or I don't know.
we only got page 1 of the appraisal. And it's just a letter stating that they think it's worth 750,000. It's just a letter. It's not an appraisal. Like the full,
right, so is that
With
market
count.
value? I would say that's market value.
there's no proof. I
No,
mean,
but
they don't back it up.
what do we have proof that the 900 and some is market value?
But the statute says if they don't let them in, then they have to estimate.
Yeah, and
But we estimated very high. And it's ballooned, as Commissioner Elsing said, it's ballooned after the last,
but the estimated valuation, we're not allowed to change. Based on state statute. Do we have additional questions?
well, I will be talking to authorities at a higher level that this law is pretty crappy.
Okay. Commissioner Olson?
It's pretty cut and dry.
Okay, so the motion is,
And the more I read it, right, I want to find a way to, but the more I read it, the more I'm right. I'm surprised that if he knew, if you told him, you told him. This is $1,000.
Yeah.
Has he ever seen this? Has he actually ever?
Print out.
I think this would be good for him to see.
It's gonna be pretty, you can give the poor
Oh,
guy a
yeah.
heart attack.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
motion was made by
in my house
Commissioner
before.
Olson, seconded by Auditor Treasurer Wilbright.
Yeah,
To leave
Voting against it would be against almost
the law.
both. You're right.
To
Go ahead,
leave the
throw me in
value,
jail then.
to leave the value at what was set by the assessor, which was 968. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Nay,
Those opposed, please say nay.
nay.
And that
Sure you took that training?
I hear one nay? One
Yeah.
nay, I think Commissioner
Yeah.
Olson said.
I just, I interpret this differently than some other people, but that's my
It's
thinking.
okay.
That's okay. That's why we have a democracy.
Yeah, okay, so I believe that the next 2 items of business have to do with the consent. We've had a review of the report. Okay, so I guess what would be next would be to act on the consent items that were on this spreadsheet. Lindsay, did you, have anything else you wanted to tell us about this?
One moment, I'm writing down Larry's number.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So do you have a breakdown of why some of these are pretty significant, like, is this the movie theater that you cut back 100?
So,
So, I
no,
mean-
I do not have them on there because it is listed as consent business. Breakdowns are available if necessary. I do have copies of everything that was noted from each appraiser on each of these areas. We only had one that actually had a value increase. And he didn't seem to mind.
But hotels, how did they drop that much?
I went and walked through each property with the owners.
I mean, that's significant dollars.
Yeah, so this is again where we're talking about that 25% increase across the board, and it can throw things out of range. Hotels right now in a lot of areas are having issues keeping up on maintenance because they don't have a lot of that their vacancies are much higher, so their maintenance budget is a
That
lot
shouldn't-
lower.
That should, why would a maintenance or just because their occupancy is lower, that shouldn't reduce property taxes? It's the building, it's not the use and the
It
occupancy.
reduces the value somebody's worth paying if they have to redo the fate,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
that kind of deal.
No, okay.
Right. Okay. Commissioner Vega.
I'll move to approve the other item. I guess.
Consent?
Yeah.
The consent items.
I'll second.
Okay, great. I did have another question for the assessor.
Yeah.
So are any of the folks on here unhappy enough that they've said they're gonna take us to tax court that you're aware of?
I don't believe so. Do you guys recall anybody on there? Just Dwight, yeah.
Was the Rivers
Mike,
for the
44 North?
yeah.
44 North.
That was,
Yeah.
Mr. Shortridge called me. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's called everybody. I have spoke with
But wait a
both
minute, what are we talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
The new hotel.
the new hotel.
Okay, what about that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think they just had questions come out. It isn't specific for this meeting. Because there was a clerical error on that property, so that gets addressed at the end of the year. I've spoke with Danny, Mike, and Mr.
Clerical
Shortridge.
meaning we were too high or too low?
And this one, it ended up being higher, and it was lowered. There was an overlap of building. But that's another
Okay.
day.
So I request, can you, just a quick note, anything that was like 50,000 that you dropped, can you provide a note? Why?
In the future?
No, and these, there's
Right
some
now?
pretty, well, not right this minute, but
Okay, please.
I mean, Rivers, you dropped 4, 6, 120, 265, 378. That's a lot of money. Is
In
that?
general,
Yes.
it's because the maintenance hasn't been.
That has nothing
So
to do-
normally those types of things would have been approved through the city board at that time. But because everything had to come to the county board, that's why we're asking him for his consent.
Is that
what
because
was
of the
with-
cyber attack? Yeah.
Okay, what was with Debbie Remlinger? You got about 2, 4, 6, 7, and they all went down. Are those rentals?
No. Those are the properties on Breezy Lane.
And what was the justification that they all went down? I mean, if you can put some short notes together, I have no idea. You're just telling us we can't, the few people that showed up, and then some of these people got very large decreases. I have no idea why, what the rationale was, I guess is what I'm saying.
You would accept that at a future time?
Yeah, or just even an
In an
email, anything over 50, anything that you cut over $50,000, I would like to know why. What was it that triggered that? Because if you added up those, I guess you didn't put a total. How many dollars did you decrease?
Okay, people help.
the county has
Did we vote on the consent business yet or not?
Nope.
I didn't think so. Okay.
Because I apologize. I don't have a lot of confidence in these numbers because I don't know why they got changed, in my opinion, fairly significantly.
Okay, that is noted. And it sounds like the assessor will get us answers. Any other questions? Hearing none, the motion on the table is made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Auditor Treasurer Wilbright to approve the consent business.
No.
That was vaguely.
Made by
Vaguely
me,
Olson.
seconded by Olson.
Really?
Yep.
Thank
Wow.
you.
You're on the
That's good,
consent
Lloyd.
change.
It is getting late. Here we go. I made it
Yep.
here. Okay, made by Bagley, seconded by Olson. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If anyone's opposed, say nay.
Nay, because I don't know
Okay.
why.
Thank you,
Yeah.
but motion carries.
Number 7,
Yeah, I think so. Is there any other business that we need to consider?
motion to adjourn.
Well, the staff, everything else.
That's what I'm asking.
Second.
Okay.
Not
It
debatable.
was Olson and Vaguely.
Olson and
Oh,
Elsing.
Elsing.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, if anyone's opposed and they want to stay here.
Well, you made friends tonight.
See you.
Bob gave me this to hand out because.
I'm going to provide.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Most recent.
For being